Model Railroaders, and welcome back to the Second Section podcast, where it's just a bunch of regular guys talking model railroading. I'm your host, Andy Dorsch, and joined with me tonight, there's a few people in the window tonight, but my co-host, Mike Ostertag. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, just getting over a bout of the flu.
Yeah, I had that a couple of weeks ago myself.
Yeah, my voice has come back, and I'm back stronger than ever. So, so tonight is a special night for us, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it's kind of a night that I don't think either one of us ever expected to happen. I mean, this is, it's kind of like the internet. It's just a fad.
Yeah, I think what we give ourselves, 3 shows, 4 shows, maybe.
Maybe if we pushed it 2 whole months, that was
2
about
whole
it.
months.
We'd be sick of each other and run out of stuff to talk about. And nobody'd be interested. And
right, exactly. So this is for those who aren't in on the joke. This is our 1-year anniversary show. So Mike and I put this podcast out about a year ago. And so far to date, we've got about 28 episodes out there, and we're still going, and we're gonna have
we got a lot in the hopper coming up.
We got a lot in the hopper coming up, so we're not going away. For some of those that didn't think we'd make her, but tonight it's all about saying thank you to the section crew. And basically reaching out and bringing some folks on the show from the crew to get to know each other and have a good time tonight.
Some pretty hardy regulars in the chat.
Yeah,
are now on the show. So now we can put a face to the name.
Yeah, to the snide comments that we get.
So we apologize. To everybody else.
So and then tonight we also, joining us in the chat, we have about 50 people to get started here. So welcome everybody. But we'll go around, we'll do some introductions. So I'll call out your name. And you go ahead and just basically introduce yourself to the section crew out there in podcast land, and what are your modeling interests. So we'll get started with Neil Erickson. Neil, you're where are you coming from this evening?
Live from the Big Island. Sitting here in Hawaii on the beach, and I am across the street from my little hotel, which is fully booked. Otherwise, it'd be sitting up there.
That's a good thing, right?
I'm not complaining, but it does keep me busy, and I don't have much time for modeling lately. But I generally model ON30 stuff, so I'm kind of the oddball.
ON30, okay. So you're doing steam era type stuff, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, circa up to about 1920, 1921, right? That's
awesome.
The era that the Oahu Railway tried out some Shay locomotives with their branch.
Okay.
So if you love Shay locomotives and climbing up steep grades, boy, have I got a song for you. It's really fun.
Well, welcome to the show, Neil.
Hey, congrats, guys. I'm really proud of y'all. I really enjoyed the show, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And Neil was on one of our first shows. I believe it was the Content Creator Show. We had Neil on talking about different types of content creators with model railroading and stuff like that. So he's not a stranger to our show.
Yeah, you had me talking about dead rail, which we can do more of that sometime if you'd like.
That would be great.
What? That's a really interesting topic, especially with some of the advents and battery technology and stuff that have come along here recently. Put that on the list, Andy.
Okay, I'll put that on the list.
Well, especially since I'm not really completely dead rail anymore either. I charge from the rails where I need power, and I don't have it everywhere. I don't use live frogs. I don't use power my Ys and return. It keeps it pretty simple.
Nice. So that's cool. So it's not too much power, just a little power.
Yeah, mostly dead.
Mostly dead.
I'm not dead yet. Yeah.
All right. Very good, Neil. Brandon, I see you've joined us here welcome to the Second Section Podcast. How you doing?
Pretty good, yourself?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Why don't you go ahead, give yourself a little intro and your modeling interests?
I'm just more or less getting into true model railroading. I've always been doing like the Thomas wood sets.
Yeah.
My brother had some when we were younger. My son had some, and me and the girlfriend went and seen a giant model railroad setup, and I was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, right. Good.
So currently, I'm about a month in, and just this past weekend, we got the actual track plan laid out. We're doing an HO scale setup.
Very cool.
Really don't have. I'm a big fan of steam engines. She's more into the diesel BNSF lines.
Okay.
So it's going to be a knockdown, drag out.
So I got a question for you, Brandon. So how big of a layout are you starting with?
Right now it's about 8 by 12, with intentions to make it 12.5 by 12.5.
Holy cow! So that's pretty serious setup.
That's a pretty respectable layout. That's a good size.
Yeah, it took us a little while to figure out and get going. I had the idea for the benches right away. I knew what room I had, and I had a couple workbenches that were built into the opposing wall. And I was like, "Oh, I'll add them."
Yeah,
and add space. And I didn't realize that there was a 7-inch difference. And I've only got a run of about 50 inches that makes a 13% grade.
Man,
well, that's not going to work. So
that's you're gonna need to take a pencil to draw that up there. That's gonna be something else.
Have you ever heard of the Pikes Peak Railroad?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So I decided that I'm going to hold off on adding those benches until I can make a box to build them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that gives me an opportunity to add a live water feature.
Oh my.
I got the idea from Eric the Cajun Junction on TikTok.
Really?
He's got a couple live water features, and I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them on YouTube myself.
And so I was like, well, if I add a 7-inch tall box, that more or less opens up the bottom to, I can put in a box on, with a liner in it.
Yeah.
And then I can have my water feature.
That's pretty cool.
That certainly negates worrying about how you're going to pour resin, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just a note for you, Brandon. We got a lot of people that are willing to share and help in this group too. So
I've noticed that. We were talking before we went live. I found the podcast a little over a week ago and immediately joined the Facebook group. And I posted a couple things in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've just been kind of sitting back and reading what everybody's posted, and it's like, oh, okay, that can apply to me. I know.
Yeah, there's some very top level, like very, very, very educated layout designers that have been that are in here all the time, and there are a couple right in this room right here too. So it's you're in good company. If you have questions, they'll answer them.
That's right. That's for sure.
And not only that, but they'll not be afraid to tell you, you might want to rethink that.
Right.
You might want to rethink that, and here's the reason why. And it doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just that, a lot of experience around, So
definitely.
It's awesome. Well,
sorry about that. Apparently my dog's getting into stuff.
That's all right. If you got to drop and take care of that, that's cool too. And you can jump back in. So
nope. I think he's just trying to climb on stuff that he shouldn't be on.
That'll be part of the layout process too.
Yep.
And remember, I've been to some layouts where the water feature was going over the toilet. So water features.
Well, welcome, Brandon. And like I said, feel free to reach out with any questions to this crew that you need answered. That's for sure.
Definitely will do.
All right. I'm going to pass the baton over to, let's go with Jim Rent. Jim, welcome.
All right, the party's gonna start now.
I'm just kidding. You can finish your meal there, Jim. We'll go to Mike Slater. Mike, how you doing?
It's all good. It's just my dessert. My name's Mike Slater. Modeling interest. I'm a rubber gauger.
Rubber gauger, what's that?
Rubber gauger is multiple scale interest. I model everything almost in between HO scale to 12 inches equals a foot. Primarily HO scale and Lino 0/027 are my main interests.
Okay, cool.
But within the Lino collecting realm, I have the 00 scale, the 3-rail O scale, and the tin plate standard gauge. And of course, the 12 inches equals a foot is I am the caretaker of a Milwaukee Road caboose in the village park here in Sturtevant, Wisconsin. So, also been in the hobby nonstop for 43 years. And also during that time period, worked almost 20 years part-time at what used to be a local hobby shop before they closed.
Okay.
Few years and few interests in the hobby. So, no expert by any means.
Jack of all trades and master of none. Is that right, Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better to be that way.
Better to be that way. Well, welcome to the show, Mike. We're going to have a bunch of follow-up questions for you, I'm sure, as we get going here. I'll pass the microphone over to Jim Rent. Jim, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, all things considered.
Yeah, that's good.
Still waking up and sucking air, eh?
Well, there's that. I mean, sometimes my wife complains I suck the air too loud, But,
right.
So why don't you introduce yourself to the section crew here?
Well, as you mentioned, my name is Jim Rent. I'm from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Please don't hold that against me.
No, that's you get bonus points for that.
If I was Catholic, they'd take time off of purgatory. But I've been. Let's see. I got to think. When my grandfather found out that I was a boy, that day he ran out and bought a train set because he finally knew he'd have somebody to play with. And so that was sort of the start of my interest in railroading. And I grew up next to the tracks in Cedar Grove, Wisconsin. And
okay. Is that the Chicago and Northwestern?
Correct, exactly.
Yeah.
Lakeshore Division.
Nice.
And there wasn't a train that didn't rattle our home. That's how close we were to the tracks.
I can relate to that with my mom's house.
Right?
Really?
And for some reason, it always cracks me up when people say, I can't live in the neighborhood with trains. It's like, are you kidding me? I can't live without that vibration. It's like mother's milk, man. You got to hear the horn. No, but I've been involved in model railroading most of my life. Now that I've got 3 grandkids, I seem to find myself playing with Thomas more than I do prototypical arrangements, but they do get a kick out of the regular stuff that I have. I've mostly been doing just kind of floor-based unitrack while I'm cleaning the basement and getting it ready for the new layout.
Sure.
But my interests have been since I was about 20 years old. I've basically stuck with N scale. I started my involvement with N scale when I was about 12 or 14, I think.
Okay.
And that's back when I don't know why they didn't call it dam scale at the time, because that was the only word you said every time the thing went more than a foot, because you knew it was going to stop again and derail. But having overcome all that and seeing how far it's come, it's been pretty interesting to watch N scale improve the way it has, and
yeah, certainly,
and to be involved in it. And as some of you know, I do professional custom model building as well.
Okay.
I've been involved in museum projects and people's personal requests, and made a few kits over the years. So trying to get back into that again. COVID nearly killed me, so
Sure.
it's taken the last 2 years to get myself back to the point where I'm a functional human being again. But
so
we're getting there.
You're getting there. So there's a couple questions for you, Jim. So since you're kind of a man about the community, Bernard C asked you, Jim, do you still have that train set that you talked about?
I have one car that's left from it, and I also have the very first Christmas present I ever bought for anybody, which was for my grandfather. I bought him an HO scale AHM S2 switch engine, and I still do have that in my collection.
Very nice.
I paid a
That's
whopping
awesome.
$7 for that thing, man, and that was a serious dent in a 6-year-old's wallet. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say that's a lot of paper notes.
I almost had to mortgage the coaster wagon for that one, man. But
and then Ralph Ranzetti asked, "Are you still doing the laser engraving and cutting?"
yes, I finally was able to purchase a newer machine, and instead of feeling like I'm pushing a little knee coaster down the sidewalk like a kid, some kind of scooter.
Yeah.
This laser actually makes me feel more like I'm flying a space shuttle. So
that's cool.
So it's
awesome.
good. Yeah, we're getting there.
Good.
We're getting there. It's
And you had mentioned, and I'm just going to say this because this to me is still one of your greatest accomplishments, and it should be shouted at the top of the mountain is what this should be. I have got to get over there and see this thing firsthand. You're involved in a very, very, very intricate N scale recreation of the town of Zaco, Wisconsin.
correct.
And could you just I know it's like a 3-hour episode.
No. It's
save that one? Let's give the appetite for future episodes.
Yeah. Can you give the first page of the Cliff Notes version of it?
Sure. I started out as a child. And,
Oh, jeez.
Of course, it would go there right off the bat.
I warned you guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting how I got involved in it is so ridiculous. You got to believe in a higher power at some point, as far as I'm concerned, because I had built a little N scale 2-story shanty for next to a crossing on Indiana Avenue in Sheboygan. And I took it with me to Train Fest to show it to John Dornfeld, who I knew, but I didn't know terribly deeply well. But my friend Mark also knew him. And so we usually sat and chatted with John for half an hour or so at Train Fest. And I brought this little model along. And he looks at me and he looks over his glasses. And I figure I'm either about to get chided or complimented. And he looks at me and he said, "Well, this is very good." He said, "Do you like doing N scale?" And I said, "Yeah, I enjoy N scale a lot." He said, "Would you be interested in helping me on a project?" And I thought, who the heck am I to be, helping out on a project? But we got talking, and he hands me this envelope for what turned out to be a car dealership and repair shop. And he said, "Why don't you take this with you, look it over and see what you think, and get back to me." And we formed a very close friendship that still holds to this day, I'm happy to say. I mean, with two men like us having sharp knives in the same room, we haven't killed each other or bloodlet yet, so I guess things are going relatively well. But I started working on this project, and he liked the way the work was, and so we talked to the fellow who was funding it, a man by the name of Dean Proper, and he was very, very kind man. He literally built a 1-to-1 replica of a Chicago Northwestern Standard No. 3 depot.
Wow.
To represent the town's depot, which was torn down in, I believe, 64 or 65. And interestingly enough, and I don't mean to sidebar too much, and I'll try to keep it to the Cliff Notes thing, but what's really interesting is when people in the town that he grew up with, and he lived in this town up until he joined the Navy and went to college. And his father ran the bank, so he was very intimate with this town. And there had been an aerial shot taken in 1949, and it was a perfect set of shots of the town, and that's what we ended up using to model it. And in the end, people started finding out he was doing this, and a bunch of people came out of the woodwork and brought pieces. Somebody actually had, like, I want to say it was like 35 feet of the original telegraph cable, and the insulators, among other things, that started coming out of the woodwork. Somebody, I think, actually had a boom that had been in the depot right before they tore it down. And all these people said, "Oh yeah, I've got that in my dad's barn. Let me throw that into the museum." But what was interesting is we looked at the size of the town, and we figured what our limits were. And we literally, with the exception of one farm, none of it is compressed.
That's incredible.
It's literally inch for inch, end scale. And, you know, I don't mean to sound silly here, but in so many ways, it's like a dream project. You know, how many people, you know, look at their hometown and say, "Oh yeah, I wish I could model my hometown and, you know, these industries and all this, but man, it would take a gymnasium to do this." Well, it turns out it didn't. You know, we actually got 95% of the town in this thing.
Lucky.
In 13 by 9 feet. And it took us a few years to do this because we were doing it on sort of a part-time basis. We had a good team of 3 guys. It was myself and John Dornfeld and Chris Comport, who has done many narrow gauge layouts for people over the years. And what was funny, Chris often said, he said, "I hate this project. I said, "Why? This is great. It's a chance to do one." Yeah. He said, "You're so good at prototyping and sticking to the dimensions." He said, "I'm used to doing narrow gauge logging fantasy layouts for people that are like, you know, 10 feet high or 8 feet high, and they go to the floor and they come up." And he said, "This is a nightmare." He says, "I've got to follow a plan." He said, "For the first time in my life, I got to follow a bloody plan, you know." So God rest Chris. He was a fantastic inspiration and just a wonderful man to work with, and we had a lot of good times.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we managed to build this model over the course of 6 years, and it took Dean that long to get everything together. But to give you an idea of his commitment to realism, he went to a lumber yard in Green Bay, and he said, "I want dimensional lumber how it would have been in 1906 when this depot was built." So every 2x4 is an actual 2x4.
Okay, 2 inches by 4 inches.
Exactly. Yeah. Not a 1x3 or whatever the hell we have today.
Yeah, it's not 1 3/4 by 3.5. Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's awesome. We're gonna have to have you on one of these days, Jim.
Yeah,
one of these episodes just to talk about that. That is such a.
It's an episode in itself.
It is absolutely an episode in itself.
I think we're going to have to do one on Zacco.
Yeah, I'd be
absolutely. Delighted. And I'm sure they'd appreciate let me just put a plug in for it. It's in the Shawano County Historical Society in Shawano, Wisconsin. It's a wonderful display. You'd have to check their website to see what their hours are at this time of year. But I know in summer, Dean himself has a place in Shawano, and he spends most of the summer there answering people's questions and talking with folks and talking about the layout. But he's gone so far as to get an original telegraph key, telegraph batteries, the wires. He had a ticket case made. He got a caboose stove for him. This is as good as small town Wisconsin could ever hope for a donation.
That's awesome.
So it was a lot of fun, and I was able to put my research skills to work a lot in that, and we scared a lot of people walking around with cameras and yardsticks and looking at their front lawns and having them open their curtains. We had the police come up and visit us a couple of times, asking us what we were doing, and it's really tempting under those circumstances to, with personality like mine, to go, "Well, we were just trying to figure out the blast radius would be like." But
that's cool.
Andy, Andy, you'll have to ask me about the model I made of our town here for a local museum prior to the 1946 tsunami in Z scale.
Z scale.
Yeah.
Oh
man, we're gonna have a bunch of follow-ups here right after introductions.
Yeah, we are.
So let me just write that down.
Well, thank you, Jim, for that, and we'll
Neil and Z scale.
We have got to, dude. We got to catch up one of these days.
Well, if you guys ever want to do a personal tour up there, let me know. I'll drive up and we can get stupid for a couple hours.
There you go.
I'm good with doing that.
I do stupid better than anybody else.
Yep.
Just ask my wife.
Is that a challenge? Is that a challenge?
It was the only class I got an A in high school.
So, all right. We're going to pass the microphone over to the other side of the world. Mark Stafford, are you there? I know he's having a bit of the internet kerfuffle.
Nope.
We'll pass it right back to Wisconsin. Mike Shanky, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Andy?
Hey, good. So, Mike, thanks for joining us tonight, coming on the live stream. Why don't you go and tell us a little bit about you and your modeling interests?
All right. So I modeled the Wisconsin and Southern Railroad.
Cool.
I have a 16 by 16 by 10.5 foot layout.
Wow.
It's a double track, pretty much a folded dog bone.
Yep.
But on the inside of the dog bone, in one part of my layout, it forms almost a double reverse loop. I have a leg on one side that goes the other and pretty much makes a big X, but I don't have to diverge if I don't want to.
So you do Wisconsin Southern. Is it to any prototype, or you just kind of pick a place?
I have gone down the rabbit hole hard.
Yeah.
As you guys have seen the past year. So I used to work along the main line on the Wisconsin Southern at one of the places where they drop off rail cars. And when I first was getting back into the hobby and stuff, I want to run class 1 trains.
Sure.
Well, then, I was like, how about do something a little bit closer to home? And it just, after unloading how many center beam rail cars, it just kind of stuck. So I went with it. And as I've been now going through with my weathering, the locomotives, and trying to keep the roster as accurate as possible, I've kind of settled into 2015.
There you go.
So
that's a good year.
Go down the rabbit hole, you get, the scope is getting narrower.
Yeah, right. Less equipment to buy, right?
Yes, easier on the pocketbook.
So that's a good way to keep
the budget
I
wouldn't
in check,
exactly
right?
say that. So,
yeah. So Mike, you've also started weathering your locomotives and rolling stock too, right?
The locomotives, and I just realized last week and, this past weekend, I went to my first ever operating session.
Oh.
And it was a good learning experience.
You did a good job.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was all because of the dispatcher. That's what it was.
I heard that dispatcher was garbage.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're the person that ran the F unit in the turntable pit.
No, I did not. No, he did not. Nope. That honor has to do with the owner's son, I do believe.
Excuse me. We'll preserve the names of the innocent here. We won't say who. So
them.
Yeah. So did you enjoy yourself at the operating session, Mike?
I did, and
Good.
learning obviously more, especially with operations and stuff. As I'm on the outside trying to peek in, but I definitely noticed, when I got home and took some time to reflect on what I had, I was like, I'm doing all these locomotives, but I do start doing some cars.
Yeah, cool.
And it's like just to give it more of that feel. So I got to eventually jump down that rabbit hole at some point.
Yeah.
See where that's going to lead to. So I'm sure that'll be fun.
you got a really cool amount of work ahead of you there on the Wisconsin Southern, because I get to see it every day too, and it's kind of awesome to see some of the locomotives come by my house, and they look pretty much like you weathered them. So it's really it's turning out good, Mike.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Mark Stafford, you there?
Hi guys.
Hey, from Australia.
Hey.
Welcome, Mark.
I've
Why don't you-
got the most flakiest internet of the whole world right at the moment.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
That's all right. I'm glad you're with us tonight. So, Mark, why don't you introduce yourself to the section crew and tell us about your modeling interest?
Cool. Okay, so I'm Australian, if you haven't already worked out from the accent. I'll always be Australian. I started modelling when I was 3, and I dragged around a wooden train set with a piece of string, and I was not seen without that wooden train set and that piece of string for my whole life until my brother got to it with an axe and cut it up.
Wow.
Bastard. So I've always modelled. I started out in HO, and at about 25, 26, I moved to S scale, the spoon. See, I know I can be as silly as you.
Yep.
All right.
And I was modelling Puffing Billy, which is a steam system that's in Victoria here, where I am in Australia. And I used to work on that railway when I was 6, and I would travel for about 80 mile to and from the railway to go and be a volunteer on that railway. I loved it, and I still love it, and I've gone flaky again. So, sorry about that.
Back
my model moved to O scale. I moved to O scale principally because I had to scratch build locomotives in S scale, and I was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of that did you get?
All of it.
Yeah, all of it.
We got all of it.
The last 4 years. No. Well, you guys keep dropping out and stuff. The last 4 years, I've been trying to build a steam version of the proto-throttle, like a stupid idiot. And Neil over there, he's been one of the volunteers on doing that work. And it's a bit over 4 years now, and I never realised it was going to be such a huge undertaking as what it has been.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting when I finish it, because I really want to come over to you guys and present it to you so you can have a look.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So Andy, I sent some photos to Andy, so he might want to show you them.
Yeah, let me see here. So
some bits and pieces.
I think I have them in my chat, right? You sent them in Messenger.
And I'll just sort of say another thing. I'm actually almost completely blind now.
Really?
So I do all this modelling blind. I do it by feel.
That's remarkable. Let's take a look. I'm going to bring up on screen here if I can figure out how to work my screen share. This is always an adventure.
He just got done saying he was almost completely blind, and you go ahead and say, "Let's take a look."
Yeah, well, I'm gonna. So I'm a Rembrandt here. I'm gonna do a little bit of. I'm
just glad he didn't say Picasso.
That's the case as it currently stands, and it's going to have brake gear on it.
Let me see here.
And that round screen there, the one that I'm looking through, that one, I sent Andy a screenshot of that screen.
Let me get rid of the screen share here, Mark.
Hopefully going to show you brake line pressure. So when you do a set on the brakes, you can do a 7-pound set and watch it on the gauge and know what brake set you're doing, which I know Spoon will understand.
So you're going to be able to actually set the brakes just like they would in a regular locomotive.
Is it?
That's really cool.
Yeah, we monitor what the brake line pressure is going to be, and we can display it on that screen.
Wow.
So if you do a 7-pound set, it goes down by 7 pound, which should give you the braking effect of a 7-pound set.
Wow. There you go. How big is that?
Now, other thing I really need to point out is...
Yeah, that's something you could hold your hand.
In my hand.
Yeah. There you go. That's not bad at all.
It's all aluminium.
Yeah.
And we're making all the parts to go on out of lost wax brass. That's the reverser. And I know Andy's got a photo of those.
Yeah, let me see. Now we'll try and do the screen share, Mark, and I'll bring up the photo here if it'll let me here. So you guys should be able to see that.
Wow, that's
the mechanism
incredible.
There. The tooling that they're putting together for this is just remarkable.
That is awesome.
And then I think you sent me another.
I can't see
it. Picture as well. Here's the gauge that you have with the pressure that you were talking about. So it's basically a dial gauge. That did come through. Can you guys see that okay?
That's awesome.
That hole.
Yeah. And that goes in the middle.
Spoon, I'm hoping that you'll know exactly how to use that because it'll replicate the real thing.
Well, let's not get above ourselves. I usually just go until I hit something. and then I start the brake. No, I tell you what, that sounds really, really cool. That sounds very, very neat.
Yeah, very good, Mark.
So I just have one question. So how hot does that get when you open the butterfly doors?
The brakes will kick on at a... Yeah, go on, sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just making some humor here. I was just going to ask, how hot does it get when you open the butterfly doors and you throw the coal in?
Crickets.
The crickets. That was.
Oh, you
that
have to wear gloves.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
there you go. That's fine.
That's
the reaction I was going for right there.
Gloves.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. It's and if you back off on the throttle, the flames will come out into the cabin, get you up their nose.
That I would pay for. I would pay extra for that.
So Mark, how far along in development are you on this?
But some people got it.
Oh no!
You killed it, Jim.
When he comes back, ask him 2 more questions because the digital gauge does different things depending on what you're doing, right?
Oh wow!
Really?
So ask him about that, and then ask him about the pager motor he's getting in there, so you can have a tactile response when things go wrong.
What?
Oh wow!
Yeah, it'll vibrate.
Pager motor?
Yeah.
And
really,
Neil, are you helping develop this with him?
I feel sort of responsible for getting all this going, and he's been following me on
this. This is truly amazing.
Why am I starting to see a trend with you, Neil? Jeez.
What a troublemaker, right? I know.
Right.
He's a troublemaker. That's for sure. Well,
but Mark has taken it to a new level. It's amazing what's going on. He and Greg and Angela and a bunch of other people. You've probably talked to Mike. Mike, what is the other guy's name? John Szymanski. Is that right?
Sure. Let's go with that.
So Mark, Neil was just teeing up.
You really don't want me to talk to you.
Yeah, we're just booting you about the the different functions of the digital gauge, Mark? Neil was saying I should ask you about that. What other things can it do?
Yep.
Good.
Well, the idea, not the practice, the idea is that we have the configuration of the locomotive when you run through setting a locomotive, you do it on screen. That's on the prototype. That's actually done on that screen there. If I can get it there, that little tiny sucker. That's the board that runs the software right now.
Wow.
So this actually controls trains. It's pointless sort of giving you a look at it, because all you see, if you did a video of it, is you'd see a train move.
Yeah.
And that's not the point of it. It's how do you move the train? And it's how do you twiddle the knobs and buttons and all that sort of stuff to make a train move. And it's not just a matter of turning up a knob and all of a sudden the train goes from 0 to 15 mile an hour. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's a sequence.
Does a calculation within the microprocessor, which is that little silvery thing there.
Yeah.
And that's constantly reading what the conditions are on your various controls, including the brakes and hills and tonnage and all that sort of stuff. So the momentum is plugged in to this device to work against you. So amazing. Now I need to be upfront here. This is not me. I did not build this thing. This thing was built by around about 20 odd people throughout the last 4.5 years, me being the least important.
I doubt that highly.
All right. So there's been some guys doing the work on this thing that are absolutely incredibly smart, and I'm not one of them.
Could have fooled me.
The other thing,
kidding, right?
So understand is I ran into a bit of a problem a while back, and I talked to people on AML, and all of a sudden I got a whole heap of people helping me out with various bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
That's a great thing about these communities, is that Andy, everybody always helps each other,
show
right?
the photograph of the parts for the...
I did, yes.
For the quadrants and the levers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did,
able to show that?
Yeah, I can pull it back up real quick. I think I still may have it up.
Quiet.
Let me just go on here for a bit. Oh, it looks like we're going to lose Mark again. Ah, rats. Okay. So what we'll do here to keep her moving, as they say, there's a couple questions. Is it greasy meat hands proof? Chris Bell, that's a good question. We'll have to make it's probably not greasy meat hands proof, but
no, not if you have to wear oven mitts in order to run it to keep your hands from burning.
Keep your hands
right.
Right.
Grease fire, man.
Yeah, grease fire. Then you're gonna have exactly, Jim. You're gonna end up with a grease fire on your hands. Get it?
It looks like Neil might be bumping too here. We might be losing a few people, but
I'll be here all week.
Oh, there he is. There's Neil back. So very good. And if Mark comes back on, we'll get him back on to carry on. But just to show of hands out in the chat, virtual hands, would be interested in one of these things. Is this one of those shut up and take my money type of apparatus?
I'll bet you it's whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're excited for it.
That was a big car. Yeah,
I've never been part of a car accident in a parked car before. Holy cow.
That was cool. First time on the show.
Rear-ended me, I swear to God.
I mean, Mark, we're getting I just did a poll here quick about who'd be interested, in one of these, and looks like there's quite a bit of interest from the chat tonight. So, and some of the folks on the call here to get one of these going.
It's the same as the proto throttle for the diesel guys, right? As soon as the steam guys get a hold of something like this, it's going to be it's going to be amazing. Guys are going to everybody that has they're going to have to have 3 of them or 10 of them.
No love for the traction guys. How am I going to go from series to parallel?
Right.
That's next.
That's next. You know what? I think you should develop it.
The problem for Slater, though, is he's going to have to put a wire over the top of his room and not shock himself every time he brings the damn pole up,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
That's
I like
awesome.
the idea that you throw the Johnson bar forward and then you pull the throttle. And if you do it too quick, your wheels are going to spin and you're going to hear that sound coming from your locomotive, even though it's not really doing that, right? So Mark's doing stuff like that that's just going to blow your mind.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
It's so cool.
So cool. Whoa,
that's
Jinx,
awesome.
You owe me a soul.
All right, I'll take you up on that.
They're sitting here being smart, and I'm just sitting here being a smart ass. So I mean, it's like, wow,
right?
I stand in awe, man.
Yeah. So I think that's going to do it for intros this evening, as we're 46 minutes in, right on schedule, running just a little late. But I do have a couple announcements to make. So again, for those who just joined us, this is our 1-year anniversary show. We invited the section crew on tonight. I just want to, before we carry on here, break down a couple of stats and just share with you everything that you guys helped us create here at the second section. So just for our first year, we did 28 shows. Our YouTube channel is up to 950 subscriptions or subscribers. On the YouTube channel alone, we did over 41,000 views of all of our 28 videos this year, which is incredible. And audio, we're also putting our videos out to audio. We got over 15,000 downloads, and our Facebook group is now over 600 members. So I just want to say, I'll say probably on behalf of Mike Ostertag as well, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You guys have all helped make this podcast as successful as it could be. So I want to say thank you again. And we did it all with 0 sponsors. That's right.
Awesome.
Not sponsored on this show.
Literally.
Hashtag not sponsored. So
that's not too bad, Andy, for a couple of guys who couldn't make up their mind whether to do this for 3 years.
Yeah. And then we just decided to do it. Yeah, this was just a shot in the dark, and now we're here for a whole year.
That's quite literally, Jim. I don't know if you ever knew that, or everybody else out there. Andy and I, it would come up in conversation. I don't know.
You said
maybe
something to me a couple of years ago. Yeah.
About every 3 months or 4 months, we'd come up and one of us would bring it up, and then finally, Andy's like, "Hey, should we do a podcast?" I said, "Yes." I didn't say, "Well, whatever," blah blah blah. I just said, "Yes," and his answer was,
"You guys finally got
okay."
Back up there. I mean, how long has it been? It's been 6 years for me. So,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
And Tag, are you going to send me my check back? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Your check is coming back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The check is coming back.
Yeah, the check is coming back.
But anyways, it's just
not sponsored. All right.
Right.
It's been fantastic. So again, I just want to thank the crew here on the call tonight, and then of course the folks out in the chat. Speaking of the folks in the chat, we got 77 people out there tonight. I think we got to say hello to them. So I'll just go all the way back up to the very, very tippy
You're going to
top.
do them all?
Yeah.
We do it. We always do.
Yeah.
We always do.
So we're gonna.
No wonder it's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
that's right. That's how these things they just get out of control. So
names are out there to protect the ignorant. Yes,
protect their ignorance. So we have Ralph Renzetti's here. Welcome, Ralph. Chris Holzbach,
hey, Ralph.
Mini Prince is here tonight. Welcome.
Bernard Helen,
Bernard Helen. Phil Aloco is here tonight. Bernard C is here. Wigwag Workshop, welcome. Beerline Modelers here. Green Bay and Western Lines, welcome. Scale Rail Supply is in the chat tonight. Michael Lambertino is here. I think I said Chris Bell or had him on before, but Chris Bell is here this evening. David Winther, Relatable 100. Marty's Train Shed is here. Robert Thomas, Fox River Rail fan, Happy Valley Hobbies, the Chicago and Northwestern Mondovi line. Paul Scott August is here tonight. Let's see here. Paul H is here. Oh my gosh. Salvatore Natali is here. Welcome. Steve 87th PSAP is here. Let's see, who else do we have? Split Rock's here tonight. Welcome, Split Rock.
Oh no,
Tony Dixon.
It wouldn't be a show unless he showed up, would it?
Yeah. Yes.
We need hecklers. We need more hecklers.
We need the peanut gallery.
The thing is I actually do know where you live, Tom. So
speaking of Marty's Train Shed, it looks like Marty's going to be joining us here. Derek Alexander is here tonight. Welcome, Derek. Oh my gosh, and the list goes on and on. Scott Thornton, welcome.
Hey, Scott.
Oh, geez. Dave Nitch is here. Around the Layout podcast is here. So welcome, Ray. Let's see. Who else do we have? I think I said Relatable 100.
Yep.
Paul H. Joe DeLusso is here since the first show. So welcome, Joe, longtime fan.
I actually think he never logged off.
I don't think he ever did either.
No.
But we love having Joe.
Joe's awesome.
Joe's great. Let's see here. I think we did Happy Valley Hobbies. Thomas Austin's here. Otter Creek and Rio Grande is here tonight. Welcome. John Benicki is on. Box Ride is here. Phil Herman, the Montana Division second sub, is here tonight. Este Pande Projects is here. Oh my gosh. Lynn McCurdy and the HD MMRC is here. Santa Ana Industrial Lead Model Railroad. Good YouTube channel there. Tom Klamoski is here tonight. Unbelievable. So I just want to, George Sinos is here. Welcome, George. Tom Harris. Wow, we got all of them here tonight. Roger Coleman, Jeremiah Lighthouse, Dodo One Ops is here as well. Eric Rissman.
Roger.
Yeah, Jeff Anthony, welcome. Kenneth Schmidt. I'm almost back to the top. And of course, Mike Shanky, who's on the call this evening and is always the first one. Always the first one
he is
to chime in.
Yep.
Gotta get my workbench time in.
Yeah.
Like
Ron Giordani, 80 now in the chat and climbing. I just want to say welcome all. Nathan Crabb is here too. Oh, I forgot him. There you go.
I tell you what, that guy is getting around.
That guy's getting around. So
I tell you what, Nathan has been taking some photography. That he is a hell of a photographer for a young kid, and I'll tell you something right now. He awesome photos this guy takes.
Yeah, he's quite good. So
yes,
welcome to the 1 year anniversary show, everybody. Again, thank you all. Rules for the chat are as follows: keep it civil, keep it model railroad related. If you see a bot, call it out. I'll moderate and we'll boot it. And then keep her between the rails, and that way we don't have to boot you either. So, all right. So tonight on the docket, we got a newcomer here to the call this evening. Marty, are you out there?
Marty, you're on mute.
Problem of not finding the mute button.
Marty, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Over
That's
here
wonderful.
in sunny Australia, I've just got back. I've been out shopping this morning, and it's getting too hot here, so I thought, now it's time to put the air conditioning on and head to the shed.
There you go. That's a good idea. So for the folks in the section crew who don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a little introduction and let everyone know about your modeling interests?
Okay, well, my name's Martin Jenkins. I model HO, collect end scale, and I also model in ON30 as well. So I dabble in a number of different scales. I primarily do Australian, so I do Victorian Railways and HO, and I do puffing billy in narrow gauge modelling, which will make Mark very happy, no doubt. My background, I'm an electronics engineer. I teach for a local college at the moment. So,
wonderful.
Most of the stuff that I do ends up being, DCC or animations. At the moment, I've gone down a rabbit hole of remote control vehicles. So I'm building a bunch of remote control cars at the moment.
Ralph Franzetti has a question for you, Marty. He says, I'm supposed to ask you about how many rabbit holes you're in.
Well, I'm known throughout the hobby as being, someone says squirrel and I'm gone.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm down a rabbit hole as soon as you could mention it. The other day, someone mentioned to me about building your own Wi-Fi throttles. So I found Jeff Bunz's site, and I've been busily making Wi-Fi throttles for our club now. So there's another rabbit hole that
oh my gosh.
I run down. So hence why the layout behind me is sort of only half constructed. So
I think that happens to a lot of us model railroaders. We just tend to have half-built layouts and a bunch of rabbit holes that we end up going down.
So just to give you a look, I don't know if this. Oh yeah, hang on.
If you do the present.
Another rabbit hole would be taking your Wi-Fi throttle and using a game controller to do the notching up and down of your throttle.
I don't believe that. Wait, was that Mike Slater? Are you talking about someone using like a Nintendo Switch controller?
I'm not sure what Father Tim is using, but he's using like a cheap and expensive little game controller. That way you could have the Wi-Fi throttle like in your pocket or your
Marty,
phone.
we got her on screen there.
Game controller.
What do we got?
So
what is this?
There's one of the HO vehicles. This is actually a Porsche, but I've got a VW here to build up. But I'll show you some of the four-wheel drives I've been doing, which are quite interesting. But these have got operating suspension. So if you see, you can see the suspension dropping up and down there. It's all brass steering. The servo's been modified. It's got a cam installed, so it turns the pivot point from being at the end to the center. So it makes it easier to make a steering mechanism.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the receiver in the back. So these work on standard 29 meg RC equipment. I'll show you one of the... where is it? You can never find it when you need it.
No, Martin, are these still the? Is this still all the components from that place you got them in, or from was it Korea or from the Philippines or someplace like that?
In China, in Hong Kong. There's a guy I met. He's a watchmaker by trade, so he's made all the gearing and the like. So none of the gearing is like 3D printed or anything like that. It's all machined. So it runs as smooth as a Swiss watch. But
wow.
That's the two-wheel drive chassis. So the motor's mounted down in the back. It's a 3-volt motor. Basically, it runs on them. Hang on, have I got the camera the wrong way around? Doesn't matter. I'll just turn it around. There you go. So, and you can see the suspension movement there. But these are the two-wheel chassis I get off him. They're CNC'd, the chassis itself, 3D printed, sorry. And he's got the clips in there then to mount the power switch and the jack there to plug in for the power. So you get the chassis basically assembled off him, and then I do all the electrics. And some of them are quite spectacular. I'll show you the four-wheel drives.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So this is the four. Here we go. Let's get
pull her back just a hair.
Yeah,
there you go, right there.
Okay, so this is the four-wheel drive mechanism. This is actually for a Mercedes G-Wagon. So the body that's going on it is a Weeking G-Wagon. This guy has 17 LEDs in it when I'm finished.
What? No.
It has operating indicators.
No.
And indicators on the on the wing mirror as well. The indicators are self-cancelling. So when you give it the signal on the RC to turn the indicators on, you put the right-hand ones on, you turn the steering to the right, and when it comes back to the center, it turns the indicators off. It's got operating brake lights, plus the third light up the top here in the back of the window. It's got reversing lights. It's got high and low beam headlights. Come back to the camera again. High and low beam headlights and driving lights as well. And the chassis, again, is made by Chin in Inventor Development Workshops in China. But there's the motor mounted inside. Now, the special thing about this guy, well, let's get back to the camera. It's got two operating differentials.
I was going to say.
This steering is again, fully independent suspension on all the wheels. These wheels actually have, if you can see down inside the bottom wheel hub down here. Well, let's go that way. There we go. That's got a bearing that's 0.8 of a mil internal diameter and 1.3 mil outside diameter. So all of these wheels have got roller bearings on them. So
I just would like to announce that I'm going back to the wooden trains with the string on them.
Right?
It must be something about the water down past the southern hemisphere. It must affect us because we start doing strange things like this.
Quite obvious. My question, Martin, is this. Does it get satellite radio?
We could do that.
Oh, my God.
Don't laugh. There's some guys in the Netherlands that are actually mounting cameras. There's one guy's got a truck and he's mounted a camera in there and he's got a gear that moves the steering wheel. So when he turns the steering wheel turns in the cab and the camera picks it up. But
oh my goodness!
Let me see if I can get back to you.
And people said I was nuts for modeling N scale narrow gauge.
I take that all back, Jim. I take back all of it.
Holy
all
crap.
of it. I know, right?
If I keep watching this much longer, I'm going to need a drink.
Marty, we got a couple of questions for you from the chat, if you'd be willing to field them.
Yeah.
So how much does one of these little gems cost?
Okay, well, the chassis alone is, I think he charges around about $280 US. Then there's probably about another $200 to get the electronics in it.
Yeah.
So it's about as expensive as a real car, is what you're saying.
So yeah, they come without radio gear.
Yeah,
I've sold them without radio gear for about $800.
Wow.
But
wow.
And again, it's 3D print, 3D printed chassis, and he's got there's the switch at the back here to put the charger in there, and then the switch goes in the side here. There's a little indentation.
So there's one other question here from Scale Rail Supply. It asks, what are you running for an MCU to control the lights and effects?
Okay, this is the guy I use. That's right. I'm going to turn it upside
down. There you go.
Now
you got to pull it up. There, now we're looking good.
Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. Let's go back in just one more. There we go. So these are the guys I use. This is a RC receiver with all the lighting effect outputs. It is also a 3.3 H bridge, so it drives one motor. So this guy is the receiver and the LED controller and the motor drive all on the one board. And it's 9mm by 9mm.
Unbelievable.
Wow, so, that's tiny.
So they're the receivers that I use. And then I just use a normal digital transmitter that you can program to bind with these receivers. So I got one transmitter that does about 4 or 5 models.
Wow.
So it changed. This has changed the whole. This rabbit hole that I ended up running down has changed the whole outlook of my layout and the whole planning of the layout. It's probably got about a third of the track that I'm going to put down on it now, because basically the op sessions are going to be RC trucks that you have to drive from the intermodal facility with the containers on the back. So I've got one of those Helgen DCC container cranes. So the idea is the intermodal will roll in, they'll unload the containers, and then you'll ship the containers by truck to the industry. Then at the industry, there'll either be a forklift or something there that you swap the containers over.
Oh my gosh.
Bring them back and put them back on the intermodal, and then that'll be a cycle of an op session. So you could be a forklift driver, you could be a truck driver, you could be a crane driver. You might even drive a train.
I'm just thinking how much smoke I would drive out of that chip if I tried this.
Right?
My track plan suddenly had to incorporate a continuous road that ran from one end of the layout through to the other, as well as, your train track. So I can't have any fake roads on my layout, which then brought me down another rabbit hole of the fallow car system, which I'm looking at and been dabbling
Marty,
with.
I'm going to use some geek speak at you real quick. So what would prevent you from driving off road? Are you going to do a little bit of GPS and geofence with your layout, or what because this is where I'm seeing this going here. What's going on here?
Well, I've been looking at, as I said, I got building these cars, and I thought, okay, we'll start having some remote control cars on the layout. And then I thought, well, if you have static vehicles sitting all around your layout, it's going to be pretty boring because you're going to have to try and drive around them all the time. And then I thought, well, if you had a fallow car system or something like that was moving, that'd be good. Then I started looking at the DC car, which is the one they run at Miniature Wonderland.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite expensive. And fallow car have got a digital system, but that's really expensive. So been speaking with Speed over in the US, and he's got an N-scale version. And we're probably going to end up toying around and building something ourselves using Arduinos or some small proprietary product.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
But that way, then you'll be able to drive in real traffic.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
So,
welcome to
at the
show,
price
Marty.
of these things, I would start looking into model insurance.
Right.
We might have a policy available for you.
Yeah. You buy one less brass locomotive. That's all.
Yeah.
One.
It's quite interesting when you look at. There's a couple of clubs that I've joined on Facebook that are based in Denmark and Holland, and to see the stuff those guys are doing, and they go out to train shows, and they've got a whole layout that's just RC vehicles. So they've got a quarry down one end where they've got an excavator loading semi-trailers up. They drive that up to a sorting facility where they've got a drum that actually sieves the sand down to the different grains. And then they take that back, and it's like a whole circuit. And it's probably about 10 blokes all driving remote control vehicles on this layout.
Wow.
Yeah, they would definitely give a new meaning for some of our trolley modules that have city scenes of trying to avoid the streetcars.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be
kind of neat.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, you could recreate that court case with the lady who said that the trolley moved into her lane.
Yeah.
So what between going down rabbit holes like that, and then of course doing DIY DCC, like I said, been building some throttles, but I build those Raspberry Pi systems, and yeah, I think I need to find someone to start doing that.
I think there's a fundamental change happening in our hobby, where things that used to be impossible are now becoming possible. And we're only just starting to realize where we can go with this stuff. And one of the, Thomas Kolomowski is one of the great movers and shakers for me. He proved to me that you can have an absolute ball with one engine. and run that on a relatively small layout, and you can like have wall-to-wall fun, and you don't need to spend a fortune. So I'd sort of put in Marty's thing that if he had one locomotive and one motor vehicle, think of the fun that he could have just mucking around on a little layout.
Well, I have fun now because what I did do is at our Brisbane show, I just roll up with the vehicle and just drop it on random people's layouts, and then start.
Yeah, but that frightens shit out of them.
Yeah.
Oh man, the sensors are going to be all over this.
There we go.
There we go. That wakes the chat up a little bit. There we go.
I thought Jim was going to be the loud one.
It took us 1 year. Mark, you did it.
1 year.
1 year. We got our first swear word on the show.
And here's
that's not a swear word.
Oh, well.
He's right. In Great Britain, that's allowed on TV,
Yeah.
So as long as you only play this podcast in any British territory, you're fine. You're fine.
That's okay.
Yeah,
and
you're fine in Australia. No worries.
After dark here.
I just want to say that I am no longer saving up for the Play-Doh barbershop because this is just too exciting here.
It is. It's fascinating.
It's just so much more action than what I'm used to.
So
yeah, but we're in a cusp of a new epoch in model railroads, and I think that things like S-scale will take off from here because you don't need 50 locomotives and 400 cars. You don't need that.
Well,
You
got
do
that.
realize men will come to hunt and kill you
mess.
now for saying that, right?
That's okay.
This hobby
who's going to yell at me?
This hobby is based on people
blind.
buying stuff and never using it. You understand that, right? I mean,
yeah, I have it. I have a ginormous number of locomotives that I'll never use ever.
So somebody just put in the chat then about making a square front truck. I've actually got a maintenance away truck here. One of those. What brand were they again? I can't
if
remember.
it has a scale welding tank on it, I'm out of here.
But we're making it into a maintenance away vehicle with a drop down rail. Now the rail, the wheels for the rail are actually all going to be brass. So the idea is you can go to someone's layout, you can drop it down and when you go up and you actually drop the rails down, it'll short out their DCC system, and therefore you won't have the risk of someone coming flying around the corner with a logo and clean you up on the track. And then when you get to the next crossing, you can get off and lift up and then take the short away.
So I gotta ask Brandon, you're relatively new to the hobby.
We're scaring him off.
Did we scare you?
No, I am shocked. Radio control has been something that I've always been into, and finding out that this is available, my wallet just got a lot lighter.
You will never be able to afford children. I'm just finding that out right now.
The bad part is I already have two.
There you go.
Well, at least
they're not going to college.
At least you can sell them. I mean, there's that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Trade them in on radio.
I'm going to show these guys up. That's it. I'm doing N-scale thermite welding from here on out.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
You pushed me too far now with this stuff, man.
Yeah. There's a couple guys in the chat. Brandon's considering RC boats now.
There we go. I'll do that on my live water feature.
There you go.
RC sailboats.
No, we want car ferries, man. We want car ferries with working docks.
Ferries.
And you're fired the first time you hit the dock.
You might as well not even start the payroll then.
See, there is a challenge for Father Tim to make his car ferries.
We want scale thickness on those hulls. Okay, we want scale thickness on those hulls. So when your aluminum foil hull tears and your ship sinks, and when you're having an operating session, you'll know the reason why, man. Right there.
Yep.
But you can look them straight in the face and damn it, that was prototypical.
At Miniature Wonderland in Germany.
Yeah.
They're a Danish club and they're a 187th boat club, RC boat club. So they meet once a month at Miniature Wonderland to use their Hamburg Lake to run their models in. Now, One of the guys has got a four-wheel drive Land Rover with a rubber ducky on the back with twin screw motor, and he launches that off the trailer into the lake, drives around the lake in his little tender and his little rubber ducky, and then comes back and goes back onto the trailer, and they drive the trailer away. There's videos on YouTube of it.
That's unbelievable.
That's funny.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
There's got to be something wrong up there in those Nordic countries. Because those guys are just crazy into this hobby.
They have to pipe in the sunlight up there, so they get bored pretty quick.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody needs a hobby. They should probably take up, like, I don't know, model railroading or something.
Yeah, very good.
Wow.
I think I'm going to be in Marty's predicament in about 57 rabbit holes in one.
Well, I'm hoping to get these two finished here, and I will be over in Springfield in January. So if anybody's got a layout at Springfield, watch out. The vehicles might start moving on your layout.
That'd be awesome.
Brandon, you might want to consider buying yourself a taser. So anytime you get a new idea, just put it by your neck, hit the button, and that's the end of that idea.
So
I'll go out and get the cattle prod.
You might be glowing by the end of the year, but
I'm getting a note from the producer. We're not allowed to have people shocking themselves here on the second section. We're not covered. Our insurance
does not condone the use of tasers,
cattle prods, or other electrical equipment other for model railroading or RC cars.
I should no longer take my hairdryer in the shower. Is what you're saying.
I'd refrain from that.
That's necessary for me.
Listen, dude. Listen, haven't you noticed it? It's. I'm just saying, Jim.
I'm thinking my hair dryer, you might need electric buffer. Get the wax going.
Hey, watch it with the wax, man.
Yeah. Hashtag not.
I'm a guy. I don't wax. Okay, I'm just saying.
Hashtag not insured.
Yeah. Hashtag not insured.
That's pretty clever. So Marty, thank you for I guess sharing just a little bit, just a tiny corner, one little tiny rabbit hole of your world, and welcome to the second section podcast this evening. So thank you for volunteering to come on.
Not a problem.
And Andy, can I do a shout out?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
I've got a friend of mine who's an ex-vet in America who's struggling with his mental health at the moment. And I want to do a shout out and let him know from Australia that we care about him. Tim, you know who you are. Thanks, buddy, and thanks for your service.
Yeah, thanks for your service.
Absolutely.
Here. Well done, Mark. Excellent. So I think what we'll do is Mike Ostertag. What do you think? Should we do a short line of the show?
I don't see why not.
I think we should. So if you're new to the podcast, we rotate through, and we're going on a tour around the United States of America here, where we're picking up short lines, and we're taking a look at them, and we're picking out some of the interesting features that you may want to turn into your first model railroad. So what we'll do here is we'll cue up the Greasy Meat Hands band, and we'll take our first commercial break of the evening. Here we go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Mike, it's time for short line of the show. What do you have for us this evening?
The production value on that just keeps getting better and better and better and better. It's been a year, and that's the best. And that's the best we got.
Yep, it's I mean, we've got the best musicians money can't buy.
Right?
You know, the Ripon High School band, jazz band. That's what we pretty much have here for the Greasy.
They're getting tighter on their notes in that.
Yeah,
they are.
It's getting a little better. It's
I'm
been
waiting for you guys
28
to
episodes. You think they'd
on that.
Yeah, after 28 episodes, you'd think they'd have this down by now.
Nah, they know better. They know better. So, Mike, where are we?
We are in
the world?
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
And okay, so as with many of the other states that we've done, there's an inherent issue with the state of Louisiana, as the majority of the railroads have been bought out by blah, 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 blah.
Watco,
right?
Patriot Rail.
Whoever.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Wyoming, whatever. There are a couple that are still, there's one that's still independent, but I decided not to go with them.
Oh, no.
Because I really couldn't, I really wasn't exactly sure what they did. I did a lot of research on them, and I just really wasn't sure what exactly they were doing. And that was the NOPB, the New Orleans Public Belt.
Okay.
It's not a very big railroad. It's just not 100% sure if they're just like moving freight from one spot to another, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Cool railroad, decided to go a different direction. This railroad is actually owned by Continental Rail, which is very one of the smaller of the little conglomerate places. But it has two separate portions of track. Each could be their own separate layout.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. High quality production value. We go here. We do this. Good God. What is going on here?
Here, let's put Mike on the big screen so we make it awkward.
Oh, there we go. There's that. Go here. Can you guys see that?
No.
Delta Southern. We're going to go with can you guys see that at all or no?
You guys see that now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Delta Southern.
The Delta Southern Railroad. And they are changing the way you move business. They actually have two separate lines. One line here's a little map. I'm going to click on it, see if it'll. Hey, look at that.
Wow.
One line goes from Monroe, Louisiana, up towards Sterlington. This line is about 14 miles long. Easily modelable, easily able to be made into a model. The other one is in Tallulah, Louisiana, and goes up to Lake Providence, but also has two, from what I could tell, they have two ports on the Mississippi River.
Oh,
and
cool.
Madison Parish Port and then Lake Providence Port. And the cool thing about this railroad is that you don't need a lot of power. You don't need a lot of cars. But their operation seems to be fairly interesting. Let's see if I can find where I want to go next here. Here's the Wikipedia thing. Pay no attention. They're trying to.
Yeah, you gotta give them some money sometime, Mike.
Yeah.
You just can't use their.
No, I don't. No. So the Monroe to Sterlington, Louisiana line is 14 miles long, and then the Tallulah line is 37 miles long.
Okay.
And at one time, that Tallulah line went much farther, but there's another railroad now that serves beyond beyond Lake Providence. Another railroad serves beyond that territory now.
Okay.
At least that's the understanding. So, this is on their website here, and it just a quick little overview. Like I said, it 37 miles long, and a couple of port connections, and built in 1903. The other section of the railroad was built built in 1904. So very old railroad lines in the United States. Very, very old, very established lines.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Are they connected?
Yes, they connect via the Kansas City Southern, but they're operated from what I can from what I can tell is they're operated separately.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's why I say you could actually model both lines on one layout, like hey, maybe top deck be one, bottom deck be another.
Yeah, there you go.
And then have a 050 or somehow do the connection somehow like that. They have got really their older diesel power was CF7s.
What?
Yep. Here you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Okay.
And hold on.
No. Stop. Don't touch.
What?
Don't touch. So this is possibly one of the coolest paint schemes we've had on Short Line of the show.
Isn't that neat? So
for the people that are catching the audio replay, I think we have to paint just a bit of a word picture here, Mike.
It's a two-tone. If I remember, it's a two-tone gray, a dark gray with a light gray. The light gray is a stripe, and it's in a lightning stripe style behind the cab.
Yeah.
So it goes about midway, right underneath the cab windows, and then right behind the cab, it goes into a lightning stripe, and the stripe actually goes higher and goes right underneath all of the intakes on a CF7. Yeah. And it has a red accent stripe around it. And then it has a pair of, I would call them maybe chevrons, but it's kind of like a pair of upside down V's on the nose in red. And it's just with a black sill and silver trucks, just sharp. It's just a cool looking paint scheme. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So one of the neat things about that is Athearn produced this engine.
Wow.
And this is
give us a click.
I'm going to try. Hopefully this will work. I'm not sure if this is our high quality production value.
Oh yeah.
No.
Little short.
Yeah, it's not sure, but
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for free,
that's
right?
Worth Point. They don't allow you any big pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, Worth Point will never give you a picture bigger than that.
Yeah. So,
but they do exist.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Can you do that? Look at this guy cheating.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, yeah, they have produced this in a CF7, and it's beautiful looking.
It is.
You know, it is a nice model, isn't it? So, and they've got it right down to the with the the neat little V's on the front and everything. So, getting back to this, where the heck did I find that picture? Oh, it was on. There we go. We're going to go back to here. They also have. Here's some other photos of some other of the CF7s. Again, these did not wear very well.
No.
There's one that actually looks very, very, very beat up. Let's see if I can find it here. Anyway, it's here we go. Yeah, that one's a little worse for wear. It's
a Ralph Franzetti wanting to be modeled engine there.
But do you notice how fresh the paint is on the trucks?
It's just blinding. It's blinding like silver.
It is obscenely silver, but yet the rest of the stuff looks like it belongs in a junkyard. It just, if this engine doesn't scream character to you, it's just
or tetanus anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. So, what ended up replacing the CF7s were some GP9s. And these Jeep 9s that they got are from the CP.
Oh, cool.
They're CP rebuilds. And this is the paint scheme they ended up going with. And as you can see, they put Continental Rail on the front. And they have their Delta Southern logo on the side of the cab. And then just says Delta Southern Railroad right on the long hood. And what locomotive from the 1950s and 60s or GP9 would be complete without the proverbial oil streaks down the side of it?
It just means that baby girl's working.
Yeah, she is in good shape. Yep.
So I got two questions there. Is that a gas can on the rear truck?
Let's take a look.
Probably to collect the oil.
I would say that is a gas can of some sort. It very maybe that, you know what? That actually might be some kind of makeshift flange lube type thing.
Taco sauce holder.
I've never seen that on a locomotive, and I've run a lot. I've never seen that before.
New type of hot box detector. If that thing blows up, you know you're warm.
It definitely has a purpose-built platform to it.
Maybe that's the bathroom. I don't know.
No. Let's see here.
So John 2618, almost the Delta symbols like the name for the chevrons in the front, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, the triangle delta delta delta.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
Let's see here.
Fox River Rail fan, question for you to ask: are those CF7s still there? Or are they gone?
I believe they've been removed from the property from everything I can understand. They're not there anymore. Same with these Jeeps. These Jeeps have since been painted over and had LTEX, the Larry's Truck Electric, on the cab put on in there. Yeah, over them. Because they've now got a pair to replace the Jeep 9. They got a pair of GP38-2s.
When you get a gas can on the trucks, you know they're about to go soon.
You know, I'm not sure if that is a gas can. That almost looks like a weight.
Yeah, some tractor weights.
Because if you look right here, there is a strap or a chain that is connecting it to that. That may be a weight.
Yeah, from the local farm tractor supply store.
Possible.
I'm going to go with a gas can full of moonshine. I like Paul. I think I'm going to... Or Dave Nitch, even better, taco sauce holder.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I'm all out of sorts. What's going on? Let's see. Where's their... not sure if they have a newest, latest, and greatest. However... they have in the past. Let's see, here's some. There's some other photos online.
Some cookies there, Mike. You have to clear your cookies before the next show.
No, that's all. That's the way this website is.
That's true.
That website is like that. It doesn't matter. But it's yeah.
It's in my face.
Well, that's part of the reason this website is just really getting. This website's getting worse and worse for stuff like that.
Anything for advertising dollars.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Here's a really good picture of the front of one of those CF7s right there.
Oh, there you go.
With the, shows that placement of that Delta symbol and stuff. But they have got a presence on YouTube. And it has quite a few videos on it. And it's worth a look. It's some of them are very old videos, and not very good quality, but at the time it was good quality at the time. And some of them are the more recent, catching the new GP38-2s. And it does explain this one that's Delta Southern Railroad in Tallulah, Louisiana. This one explains the operations of the railroad really, really well.
There you go.
It's a 15-minute. It's a 15-minute video, and this one down here on the other, next one down is the Delta Southern Railroad. That explains the other line pretty decent. So these two, about a half hour's worth of video can explain pretty much the operations of the railroad. So it's really, really neat. And just not much on the web for cars. Not a lot of information except for those couple of videos as to what customers they really do. The one line does a chemical plant, and the other line basically serves those ports and a couple of other industries. And like I say, you can get this stuff. Athearn made these locomotives, the CF7s. The rest of it is, pretty
covered hoppers, tank
cars, bulkhead flats. Really
cars.
Yep, really neat, kind of basic stuff. And it's just a really cool little railroad. And if you want to try your hand at doing a couple of different things, why not try the Delta Southern? I mean, you got two different lines you can try modeling, and they're completely different. It's like two separate railroads.
Boy, it'd be two sets of like Fremo modules.
Absolutely.
Really cool.
You could totally do that.
Yeah. That's a really good idea, Mike.
You could totally do that. And it wouldn't be very overly difficult to try to set up. Your staging would really you could do all your staging with either cassettes or out of a drawer or something like that. And then because your equipment is not really going to interchange, because the one line's got one type that isn't on the other line, and vice versa. So yeah, kind of a neat little railroad. So
yeah, that's a really, really cool.
Next one we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way up to the great state of Maine.
Maine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a real lot of fun doing that one too.
Maine.
One of these days we'll get one of these states that actually has a bunch of these that I gotta pick from.
No.
No.
Nah. You ain't gonna get that.
No.
Well, thanks, Mike, for another awesome short line of the show.
Yep. And I want to add something to the short line of the show.
Oh, there's going to be an ad.
There's an ad. Andy and I have had albeit brief but interesting conversation about the short line of the show, about maybe adding a little something to it. And I kind of hemmed and hawed, and I kind of didn't think, I'm like, well, that's going to be an awful lot of work, and how am I going to do it? Because I'm not proficient at doing this. But then I started thinking, it's a really good idea. So starting in 2023, once a month, one of the two shows in a month, the short line of the show will include a layout design.
A track plan.
To try to help visualize what can be done with the railroad as described. Doesn't mean you got to build it that way. It's just an idea
on paper.
It's just something on paper that here's a way that you could possibly do it.
Yeah.
And if anybody out there would get to a state and they want me to do a certain line and they have a track plan for that railroad, send it over. And if it's something we can get on air and everything, absolutely, we'll do it.
Boy, that was a smooth segue, Mike. Right to the email address. So if you
like that?
Yeah, I do. That was smooth. So for all the folks out there wanting to get in contact with either Mike or myself, drop us an email at secondsectionpodcast@gmail.com. We'll be able to take any requests for short line of the show, any track plans, that type of stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll have a bit of swag for you for your contribution. So if you have any pictures, I know we had a had a viewer help us out with a bunch of pictures on one of the short lines. Early on too. So
a couple of them did.
Couple of them. So yeah, feel free, and we'll get you something for your efforts. That's for sure. So appreciate that. Second section podcast at gmail.com. And we'll be sure to get to hear from you there. Look forward to hearing from you there. Okay, good short line of the show. We're coming almost into our second hour of model railroading fun. Can't believe it, and everyone's starting to get tired and sweaty. So I think it's time for the final segment of the show, and I think we'll let the wonderful Greasy Meat Hands band bring it on for us here. All right, sports fans, it is time for What's on Your Workbench. This is where we, every show, go out to the section crew and ask, hey, everybody, what's going on? What have you been working on? Show us what's on your workbench. And it's also a little bit of a whose line is it anyway type of game, where the hosts get to make up a point scoring system and then dole out the workbench of the week. However, the rules have changed for this show because we have our crack panel of guests here from the section crew who will also be helping grade the workbenches as we see them. One of which is former Workbench of the Week winner, Mike Slater. Applause for Mike. Yay! And there was much rejoicing.
Now that you've been on the show, you are no longer eligible to win any future.
Stuff happens.
So now you can go and clean your workbench and not have to worry about nothing.
I am trying to clean off the layout here.
Yeah, this is going to be a Jim Dandy. So we have in here tonight 59 different comments. And this is also fun because it's public reading for Andy. So I get to work on my speaking skills and reading skills. So this is always a challenge and a test. So I'll go ahead. We'll bring up the Facebook page.
If you want, wait a minute. I want to show mine first.
Oh, no. Okay, no. That's fine.
I just want to play with my other camera. That's all.
Oh, okay. Mike wants to show off.
I want to show off. Look at that.
There you go.
So we'll put,
and then I can play with the layout and put Mike on the big board.
Yeah, I got way too much space. Too much space. I got a cell phone here.
No. Wait. No. You don't get to grade yourself.
Oh,
the crack panel gets to grade you tonight.
Fail.
Fine.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Shanky, what do you see?
Whoa. We can't put elbows on the bench to make it look like there's less room.
Yeah, I've got to put them somewhere.
Yeah,
there's no more.
Yeah, so I think he's got a couple of, I guess, good distribution of tools on the desk. I like to see that. A lot of adhesives out there, alligator clips and wires, pretty much all over the place. A foam cradle. I don't see there's an
awful lot of where the hell did that go?
Yeah.
Going on there. I know the feeling well.
Yeah.
There's the rest of it.
But now there's the rest of it. Scale, you need more stuff because your stuff's all bigger.
There you go. And then
size doesn't always matter though.
Wow.
And it looks like, Mike, why don't you tell us why don't you tell us about the locomotive you got there on the bench, Mike?
It's for anybody that's followed my Facebook page, Farland Terminal. Yeah, you know what? I'll never be able to do what Marty. Too much empty space. I know, Ralph. So this is a anybody that has my Facebook group, Farland Terminal, 1983 to 85. I think I have it this week. Ooh, I can hear myself.
Who's got the feedback?
I don't know.
It's a new game we're gonna play. Who's got the?
I repainted engine number 800, and it was black with a little orange stripe on the cab here. And I want to be careful with this, but I repainted it into this paint scheme, and now I'm working on putting grab irons on, or handrails and stuff on it. And it's a S Helper Services SW1200 is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's got a ESU version 5 decoder inside. It has a Rapido rotating beacon that operates LEDs for the headlights, and I actually repowered this with a Protopower West motor, and I put a Tang Ban bass reflex speaker in it to give it a lot more richness and deeper bass, and it sounds really, really good. So
good.
But that's it. I know this is way too much clutter, but it's too much open. So
yeah, I think you got room there for like 3-4 more projects, Mike.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
I know.
I reckon
know
you
I'm
can
a-
get more. You
I'm
can
a
get more
monument-
LEDs in that loco as well. I reckon you could get step lights and
Yeah.
Oh
Paul-
yeah, I could.
Paul-
Not gonna, but I could.
and Paul from the C&W and Mondovi line basically said, "Does it have LED turning indicators?" So that's what's
No.
next for you, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what's next. So, all right, so good start there for what's on the workbench, Mike. Way to go, and good work on the model that switch engine. That's really coming along. I like the paint scheme on that a lot.
thank you.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Drum roll, please. We're gonna go to the Facebook group.
this ought to
So
be fun.
this is always fun. This is my favorite part of the podcast. So basically here, let me see if I can't get us up on the big screen. I get to read. That's always fun. But I also get to share some of the great modeling that's going on with the crew here. So if you want to participate in a show's What's on Your Workbench, make sure that you head out to the Facebook group, that Second Section Podcast out on Facebook. I think the rule is you have to answer the questions 3 to get into the group, and you yourself can be on the show or have your model showcased on the show. So Mike Shanky, first up tonight here, finished weathering my SD 40-2 4009. So the workbench, you get the bonus points here for the taco sauce, which is the Tamiya panel line accent.
But he's only got one color of taco sauce.
I see
So there's
2,
a couple. There's a couple. What are you looking at?
but
There's
that
2 of them right there, Slater.
Yeah, I just seen the black one. I guess I see the other jar in the back.
As a matter of fact, I see
Magic
4.
is the other color too.
I
Yeah, and
actually
the plastic
see 4
magic.
bottles. I see 4 bottles. There's 3 along the back. There's 2 other black caps that could possibly be.
Okay, yeah, he's got that black backdrop there that's kind of hiding him.
Can I just say, Andy, for a guy who is terrified of doing this,
Oh, for weathering?
for weathering, Mike, I'll tell you something. I know you're on a panel tonight and everything like that. You have really embraced doing this, and you've really come a long way, and you're doing a great job. Your weathering is really coming a long way. Or has come a long way.
Yeah.
You should be very proud of what you've been doing. It's really cool to watch you progress like that. It's so neat.
It all started with when I started even decaling, only melted 1 or 2 rail cars before I worked up those things.
But
Yeah,
that's
we
what-
all.
Trash. They are somewhere still here. I was like, nope, keep them. They're a good story.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Okay, Simon Hill. What we have here, working on another Great Western Loco. This is the Flower class, different boiler configuration with this one. So this is a labor of love for sure. And
is he hand bending all that brass?
Mm-hmm.
It would appear so, yes.
Wow. That is like craftsmanship 101 right
Scratch
there.
building from a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
That is awesome. So cool.
His workbench is very tidy though, right? I mean, it's organized. But look at this brass work that he's got going on here. This is true craftsman stuff.
It's a machinist workbench.
Yeah, it is a machinist workbench. You're right.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me see. I think he added another one here. A little closer look at the boiler. Look at that.
Wow.
That's lovely.
Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
Did he make that funnel?
I was just going to ask you that,
Yeah.
Martin. Is that a handmade funnel? Wow.
He had to turn that on a lathe, yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, the one almost looked like a casting because it had a parting line, it looked like, but that copper one.
Yeah. That's something else. Paul Bukowski says he's taking a break from his GP38-2 to add waffles. Waffles.
Yeah, waffles.
To an American Models boxcar.
This is
Wow.
no small undertaking either. This is bordering on insanity what he's doing, but it's going to be so cool when he's done.
So he's adding these little white styrene strips here to basically turn this exterior ribbed boxcar into a waffle deal, huh?
Yeah, and those boxcars are a variation of an ACF boxcar, 50-foot boxcar.
Wow.
And but there's no actual quote unquote true prototype, I don't think, for it. I don't think it actually follows a true prototype. It has varying aspects of all sorts of ACF boxcars, I believe, is the way it's been described to me. But they're amazing looking cars when they're modeled with some love like this. They're really going to be cool.
You know what's funny too is like this is a very looks like clean and orderly workbench on its own right too. So that's I'm wondering if he pulls back, if we see a bit of the behind the curtain here. But Paul, this is really good stuff. Keep us updated as to what's going on, your progress with the waffle. I want to know how you keep all of those styrene bits straight and level.
Me, I'd have them going all different directions.
Yeah, my waffle would look like one of the misshapen ones in the Eggo container. Very good, Paul.
I'd like to know what prototype he's actually trying to follow with that waffle car. That would be kind of neat to know too. All right.
Martin Coombs, what is this stuff here? Test painted a section of track. A group of us are building a narrow gauge layout in 16 millimeter scale, 32 millimeter gauge. The track is all scratch built. The track fixing cast in brass from patterns made by one of us, Simon Hill, the guy who we just showed the boiler on, right? Doing the fancy brass work. Sleepers cut from pine or ties for if you're from the American fair. And then distress stained and filter wash ballast is chicken grit, which I have weathered with various AK washes. Only another 40 feet to do on the layout itself. And then
I quit.
I mean, with what Marty showed earlier with the cars, then we have Simon with the locomotive, and now we have Martin here with the track. And here it is in progress.
For me, it's the clips.
In the UK, they actually do. They've got one layout which has got a remote control truck on it. And it's 1/48 scale, so it's a lot bigger than HO. But yeah, they drive that round the layout, and they've got a crane then at the coal hopper that loads it full of coal, and they go and take that and dump that in the back of a wagon and then take it away.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I can't get over those track clips.
Yeah.
We use those in the United States, like mostly around on switches and turnouts.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having them spiked, and there's a lot of them are clipped in place like those, and that's fantastic. I've never seen that in any scale ever. That's a first for me. That's just beautiful.
Wow.
Yep, I'm all done.
That's it. We're done.
Yep, I'm tearing my layout out.
Gregory Baker is I think this is his first time posting to the group here. He's working on an HON3 diorama.
Very cool.
And he, I think, is, if I'm not mistaken, the Mountain Goat modeler.
Yeah.
On Instagram, if I'm correct, he does some
you are.
fantastic. I'm correct, or I'm
Yes.
wrong?
No, you're correct.
Yeah, this guy does some outstanding work on his own right here. So it's a cool trestle scene that he's putting in. I love it. I like where
That
this
is
is
so
going.
neat.
Keep us updated, Gregory, on the progress.
I think he won a Walther's competition one year.
I think you're right.
Yes, he did. Also, yeah.
Yeah. Corey Bukowski working on the fading and patching of his RLBX 8675. So far, all weathering has been done with pan pastels. Look at that.
Uh-oh. Is Ralph still here?
Ralph will make comment.
Yes.
But that's all right. We're all entitled to our different processes. Pan pastels are a weathering medium that you can use.
Yes, it is.
And this looks to be like I'm gonna guess a 40. Is it a GP 40? Old Norfolk Southern deal here.
It looks like a Jeep 40.
Yeah.
High hood.
40-2.
Yeah.
No, just a straight 40 because it doesn't have the angles on the cab.
Oh, there you go. Attaboy. Yep.
Yeah. Nice job, Corey. Keep us updated on this. Workbench, you got a couple spots here open for more projects.
The cutting mat looks too new.
Cutting mat is new. Yeah.
Yep.
We got to get some work in on that. That's for sure. Good job, Corey. All right, Brandon, you're on the line tonight. Not necessarily my workbench, but building my layout. I've gotten the track plan laid out now to paint and decor. This is a good start.
There's 2 workbenches there. Maybe not model railroading workbenches, but there's two benches there.
All I can say is I definitely wouldn't be able to fit in that aisle.
Yeah, no, me neither.
It's a little smaller than I had anticipated it should be.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to access your other workbenches too. So I mean, there's that. So,
those are the 2 workbenches that I was talking earlier that are going to be eventually incorporated into the layout.
Oh,
and this is the gap here, right? So this is where the grade is.
Yep.
To the 13% grade.
Yep.
Yeah, the jumping ramp,
Yeah.
Yep.
The Dukes of Hazzard type setup here. That's okay. You can have that. That's for sure. But I mean, the workbenches themselves are very, very neat. So, but I like the storage up top here. You're going vertical with some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like you're on your way, Brandon.
Trying to.
Hey, keep us updated. Keep posting.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Let us know.
Will do.
You lost space for me, Brandon. It's just way too clean.
Right now, it's not quite as clean. This was right after I got done building the benches and putting the styrofoam down. And this past Saturday, we started trying to lay track and kind of get a plan down. I had a couple people suggest to use any rail.
Yeah.
Any rail's good.
I was kind of trying to draw it out, and I just couldn't picture it in my head. So me and the missus we came down here, and I was like, okay, let's just start laying track down and see what happens.
There you go.
And I basically set. I bought a turntable,
Hey.
waiting on the roundhouse, and I was like, "We got to set this first, figure out where it goes, and then we just went from there."
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is going to be cool. So you're going to have turntable, roundhouse. That's going to be awesome. Nice place to put the engines. That's for sure.
One last suggestion. Think about that backdrop, how you're going to attach it to the wall or whatever pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a couple suggestions on that. I'm hoping maybe later this week, if not early next week. I'm going to just start with a base coat of light blue or sky blue.
There you go.
Just for now. I know it'll probably change. But at least it's not a white wall, and it kind of brings in the scenery a little bit better.
Yeah, for
There you
sure.
go.
Now, quick question: is that benchwork secured to the walls, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say if it wasn't secured, you could have at least pulled it out and screwed some masonite to the back side of the framework.
It was definitely an afterthought, and I kind of was like, "Man, I probably should have done that." But
this is your first model railroad that you're building, right, Brandon?
correct.
It's pretty.
And remember, your
good
first layout is
step.
usually going to be the chainsaw layout.
Yeah.
You'll learn everything from.
Right, and it's just ask me how many layouts have I built in the last 3 years.
Like
was the chainsaw.
like Thomas says over at the crossing gate. Ask me how I know. Right?
Yeah. Right.
One thing that I would suggest is you could still get away with doing some masonite without having to pull that away from the thing. What I would do is I would take some cleaner to those walls, get them nice and clean. If you want to put a fresh coat of paint on them, that's up to you. But then you could actually temporarily secure masonite with the use of like a hook and loop.
Velcro,
hook and loops,
double-sided Velcro.
Double-sided Velcro strips. You could do that and just kind of put that along the wall. That way you're not drilling into anything. You don't lose the integrity of the masonite. You can just set it right on top of and hide the seam with some scenery along the base. You could do that.
I guess we ought to ask him, is that the basement? Does the wall sweat? Is it going to get wet?
I haven't had any issues with it. I've been here 4 years, and I haven't really had any issues with it. But I guess it's kind of going to be one of them things that we're going to find out for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you
That's
just give
exactly
it. A try.
it.
Yeah. Another thing besides masonite too is you can get that aluminum flashing at your home improvement store.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's then too where you could
Vinyl
use
flooring.
hook and loop.
Even vinyl flooring, just get a long strip of it.
Yeah.
And if you have a plastics shop nearby, you could, or even in a bigger city, you might be able to find sheets of styrene.
Yeah.
Also, like
you can order it on Amazon.
You can order it on Amazon. 4 foot by 8 foot sheets of styrene. You can
real thin.
Yep.
Who did that? Scott Morton? I can't remember.
Was it Scotty that did that?
No, I can't remember.
Or you also have tieback, which is resin impregnated MDF board. About sweating and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got all sorts of options, Brandon.
Yeah, definitely.
Expect it done next week.
Yeah, we'll expect an update here.
We're looking for posts.
Looking for posts. So we have Paul Scott August, been working the past 2 weeks on scenery. He's got a nice little Chicago Northwestern scene here. The grass is growing up between the rails and really looks like a nice scene on the Chicago Northwestern with junk between the tracks.
And
forever summer over there. Yeah.
And forever summer. Yep. And looks like here, but he had time at the workbench to paint up some downtown deco detail castings.
That's some pretty good work on that. Those are some pretty busy castings for all that detail you got on there.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see here. And then he started on the new Foss kit, the Foss scale models. Looks like no moss will grow on this Rolling Stone. Paul is a dynamo when it comes to modeling. He's always got something going on. This looks really cool. Cargo roller mill.
Nice.
That looks like the one that was in Ripon, Wisconsin. Jim, you might know about that.
Yeah, that does look similar. For sure.
Well done. Here's another one. Of course, we got the other one here. Very good, Paul. All right, let's keep her. Oh boy, touching things, getting clicky. All right, let's see. Joe DeLusso getting ready to start shaving the ends of the car in preparation for the new Trinity ends, as shown on the newer UP car that's roaming the rails today. Ooh, be careful. Make sure they're sharp, Joe. You don't want to end up with one of those in your finger.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it looks like you got a little jig set up here, too. It's looking good. Obviously got the earbuds in here for listening to the Second Section podcast. It's going to get you some bonus points right there. All right.
I thought the earbuds used to stop so you didn't hear the screaming when someone cuts their fingers like I was.
Right?
Here we go.
Oh, that's more like it.
So former Workbench of the Week winner John Whithouse casually working on some things, and I hope to have done for the Twin Cities Modelers Retreat in March. The Caslow RS23s will be the MNNR number 80. Trying to sort out a frame for it.
Wow.
So he's got quite a few locomotive projects here on the desk. And he's got, looks like there's a bottle of taco sauce here on the left, some brass shell in the back. My favorite tool here, the Loctite super glue up front on top of a spray can lid. This is really good utilization of foreground space, the vertical. I mean, John's a solid candidate every week for Workbench of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's putting me to shame right now.
What's that?
It's putting me to shame. You know, it's my workbench is too clean.
Yeah. And then John says he's also decided to start a small side business, hashtag not sponsored, offering resin shells. First offering will be an ML&W M630W for a Bowser chassis.
That's not a switch engine.
No, it's not. No, he's working on some design tweaks and hopes to release it early next year. Well, good luck, John. Let us know if you make headway on this. Looking good so far.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Darren Umaloft. Did I pronounce that right?
Umloft.
Sure.
Umloft, yeah. Well, I don't have a workbench per se, but I do have a bar. Currently working on remarking some BNSF hoppers to GACX cars. Just wish someone would actually do the Trinity 4750s so I could do these cars right. This is a fancy setup here, Darren.
Yeah, right.
It's a nice looking bar. I wonder if there's any select beverages in there.
Like a water tower there, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little watering hole tower. Yeah, a little water tower. Let us know, Darren, if there's any goodies in the bar that you like to keep. And here they are, all decaled and assembled. So very nice.
Yeah,
I like the woodworking on the drawers and stuff behind too. It's like that. It's a nice little setup.
You're a cabinet guy, though.
I am a cabinet. I'm a furniture guy.
I know you are.
I'm just terrible about it. All right, Philip Dimmer. The last thing I really worked on was weathering up these two UP SD70AH 9069 and UPSD 70M 4944. Finished the pictures and weathering process. Description for below if people want to read through my tips later. All right. Looking good here, Philip.
Yeah.
You're going to get a couple of demerits, though. It's the workbench is
that mat is too new looking.
That cutting mat, though, right? It is
how dirty his engines are, and that cutting mat is way too clean.
Yeah.
Could that possibly be like a presentation cutting mat?
Sure. There you go.
Like
a sponge cutting mat.
I do see some cut marks around the 12 and the 13, around that area. There's some masking tape.
Some masking tape.
Yeah.
This is a staple for any good modeler.
And there is that smudge up above the second engine there. And
right here, right?
There's that. Yep.
Good eye, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm glad Mike's with us tonight. He's pointing out all the good stuff. Started out slow on the taco sauce call, but he's making up for it now.
Yeah. Well, I had to wake up.
Had to wake up. Yeah. We had to wake everyone up. Looking good. All right. And then, so just for everyone out there in the Facebook group, Philip goes through and labels actually tells us how he did it. So this is first of all, Philip, thank you for taking the time to do this, to share with our group on how you achieved this really cool modeling result.
I'm gonna have to go there and copy and paste.
Definitely go and it's a good read, you know.
Yeah. So just
that takes more time than the model itself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So hats off to you, Philip, for taking the time to do that. We certainly appreciate it. People can learn a lot from that. That's great stuff. Well done. All right. Let's see. Oh, I skipped here. John Garvin. Let's see. I had to put my model building aside as I'm working on furniture for my granddaughter's dollhouse for Christmas. Assemble and paint to come this week. Hope
Boy,
she
you want to talk about a rabbit hole you can go down.
In action red.
Hey, you want to talk about a rabbit hole? Those dollhouse people. Holy cow!
Oh yeah.
There's one guy we've got over here who he built a layout in doll's house scale, which is 1/12. So what he did is he did a backyard of a house in 1/12 scale, and then put an N scale layout in there as a G gauge layout. So it's a 1/12 doll's house module of the back veranda, and then running around in the backyard is an N scale layout with buildings and all the bits and pieces, but it's done like a garden railway in G scale.
That's brilliant.
That's awesome.
There was a guy that I knew, unfortunately he's passed on now, but he was in a G scale, and he would super detail all of his building interiors with close to the size dollhouse furniture.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He did some really interesting modeling. I wish he was still around. He had a working Jordan spreader in G scale.
Oh, getting the actuation for those hydraulics, that had to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just missed a bid.
I'm saving that sound bite.
Yeah, put that one on the sampler button. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well done.
eBay pops up right now. Shoot.
I'm sorry about that, but well done, John. Good luck on the Christmas present there for the granddaughter. All right, Ken DeBecke, utility poles for the street running scene. This is looking good.
Yeah,
I like this.
Modeling utility poles is a hobby in itself.
It truly is. That's good. All right, I like the detail there. Let's see, Joseph Ginto just finished weathering the Conrail Dash 8 per client's request. The model is to be like it's being taken from storage to enter Norfolk Southern's upgrade program. Ooh, he's got the toasted effect going on here. That's looking good. I like that.
Shame he didn't do the one that Norfolk Southern had with the ketchup and mustard on the nose.
What's this now?
There was one of the Norfolk Southern engines that had some wreck repair damage, and they had like red and yellow stripes on the nose of the engine, and a lot of the modelers called it the ketchup and mustard. And I think later on, he got a green stripe, and it was the relish.
The full hamburger then, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So this is I like what Joseph's got going on here with the you can see that there's just many shades of color here on his foam cradle here, and you can see the underlayment on his workbench. The coffee cup is that holds his paintbrushes is stained. I mean, this you can see there's probably a pallet over here on the left that's still got some paint in it. I mean, this is a good use of space too.
Yeah,
Probably get maybe one more.
Doing some great modeling there.
Yeah, he is.
Very impressive.
I think he has a YouTube channel out there as well. He's got some neat content.
Yeah. He's done a few NMRAX clinics as well for us.
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems like he's out and about in the world of model railroading. That's for sure.
And I have to look for him on YouTube.
Yeah, I think
Not only that, he's a working show drummer as well.
Yeah, he does music too, if I'm not mistaken.
The Meat Hands band a bit of a tip.
Yeah, that would be good. We could have him come in and lay a track down for a couple of our intros. I think it's Touch of the Brush Weathering is his channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, he's posts pretty frequently, and he's got some cool tips on how he does some of his weathering. So I've been following him for a long time. Okay. Luke Lemons. I currently have a mess on my bench. The latest project of interest has been some CP newsprint cars. A nice mix a manufacturer is represented. Walther's Proto 1000, Atlas, and even a Sullivan.
Sullivan. Yeah, Sullivan.
Okay, I read it Slyvan. Kid.
It's actually Sylvan. Yeah.
It's supposed to be Sylvan.
Yep.
I just learned something today. The more I know. And taco sauce and some chalk for the weathering. Now this cutting mat looks like it's seen better days.
Yeah, well, with Luke, it better look like that.
Yeah,
that was new last week.
That was new,
right? It was new yesterday.
Yeah. Looks like he's got the video camera set up there. He's probably going to be doing probably hosting a workbench chat too. I know Luca and his Facebook group over at the Sioux Line Second Sub, they do a bunch of good work, and he shares a lot of his tips and techniques and does a lot of chats and stuff. So he's always a good one to hang out with for a little bit if you want to learn something.
I can definitely say if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've pushed you on those calls.
Yeah, I'd probably have to tip my hat to Luke too, Mike. That's for sure. He's helped me out a lot.
But there's way too much space on that bench, though. Way too much space.
Yeah, I'll say so.
I'm mad at Luke anyway because he's made me rethink how I look at things, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Jim Rent's done that to me also. You know, just walking past the building, now I'm taking all kinds of pictures of the buildings.
Yeah. Hey, what do you see here? Oh, I see a triangle. I see a rectangle. I see a circle. It's just basic shapes.
Just basic shapes. That's all scratch building is.
That's all it is.
And I lost my place. So this is always fun.
Oh, right there. You're good.
Yep.
Right there.
Liam Hoffman. Whoa.
Ooh, that's nice.
A Fox River Valley GP35. He's getting the nose all weathered up.
Tetanus shot with that after looking at that picture.
What's that?
I want to get my tetanus shot after looking at that picture. That's really some good rust.
Yeah.
As I say, for the FRV, he's got the right amount of paint on the nose.
Yeah, right. Brings back glory days of the 1990s, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well done, Liam. All right, Sal Natale. Ooh, look at this. I just recently started listening to the Crossing Gate podcast. -5 points.
Yeah.
No. the Crossing Gate podcast is a fantastic show, and Tom Split Rock, he puts that on for the Twin Cities division of the NMRA, and it's definitely worth a listen. So make sure you're checking him out. It says, I know I'm behind enemy lines. And their first 10 episodes really harped on just do it. Your first models will be rough, but they are better being used than just sitting in a box or a blue tub. So on my computer desk / workbench, I am working on my 3 Union Pacific SD40-2 snoot nose Atherton blue box diesels. They're getting DCC with front, back, and cab lights and an interior. To save money, the DC or the lead unit is getting the DCC and sound, and the rest are just going to be DCC.
Yep.
I have a duplicate road number on the 2 of them, though. YouTube and a decal sheet learning on how to renumber an engine. So, well done. Sal.
Also, solve a set and a pencil eraser can take off the numbers on the Atherton engines.
On Blue Box, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, and a lot of other. I've done it on Atlas equipment, just some solve set, put some paper towel on, and let it soak for a while, like maybe 5-10 minutes, and then just take a pencil eraser and rub it off. You might have to do it a couple of times, but it'll come off.
See, with it looks like Mark's going to have to drop. But basically the Atlas stuff, I can't solve a set for me, whatever those Atlas locomotives that I renumbered for Wisconsin Southern, it won't budget. I had to use the purple power to that degreaser from the automotive section of my hardware store to pull that crap
I
off.
renumbered about 50 Penn Central coal hoppers from Atlas.
Oh yeah.
And just use solve a set in a pencil eraser. You got to let the solve a set maybe set for 5-10 minutes before you attack it. But
yeah. So, and then Sal adds here, anyone interested, I'm using a Digitrax SDXH166 for the sound engine and a Digitrax DH126 for the other 2. Canon and Company EMD Spartan cab interior kit. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And a model lighting nano chip LED warm white from modeltrainspitware.com. # not sponsored. Well done, Sal.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the finished product.
I want to see it. Yes. Mike's right.
Little video clip in that.
Oh, that would be good too. Tony Dixon, a lot of mess and an SHS SW9. Wow. Pretty close-up shot here. See, here's a good one of Tony. Cedar Valley Road, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and Northern. Another picture of the locomotive. Hope you feel better, Tony. I know you're a little bit under the weather.
He's saying that he 3D printed that air tank.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because one of them was missing, so he had to make another one.
That's a
is that an S-scale locomotive?
Yeah.
That's S Helper Services one there, Neil.
It looks like mine, eh?
Yeah. Well.
Yep. I'm still working on the arresters. Never mind.
All right, Nathan Crabb here. A few freight cars I've finished up over the past few weeks. Question to go along with, would you recommend using taco sauce for the roofs? I've been unhappy with how mine have been turning out, and I can't seem to find a way that works for me.
I like using oils.
Yeah, I would say there's I can't think of the name of the DVD that I bought, but there was actually, I bought a DVD that showed how to use the artist acrylic oils like that, and really easy to do, and it shows a great thing. I'll have to try to find the name of the DVD and put it in the chat later.
Mike Confalone has some good videos out that show how he does it using using artist oils and then odorless
mineral spirits.
Terpenoid. I believe it is.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can apply it too. So you can do almost like a wash on top, Or if you want to get the pitted look, you can take like a makeup sponge and and use like the like the styrofoam that comes in that real soft stuff that comes in like your Hathorn Genesis box, that open cell foam, and you could use that almost like chipping technique with the artist oil, and to get a nice pitted weathering effect on the roof of the car, and just kind of dab the sponge across it. That's one of the ways I think Ralph Renzetti taught me that way. All right.
Yeah, there's another guy. There's another guy that if you have any questions, just get a hold of Ralph. Ralph will definitely walk you through it. He wants to make sure everybody has good looking models.
That's true. Angus Van, my N-scale railway of lies, the Nipissing, Ottawa Valley, and Algoma GE-944 CWL in the railroad's Operation Lifesaver scheme is just waiting for the sunshades and the window glass. Canadian comfort cab from Caslow Shops with the Kato long hood frame and miniatures by Eric Detail Parts. Looking good, Angus. Like the little, was that a little gremlin there? That's pretty cool. Next to it, Timmy Elam Chapman weathering up a boxcar somewhere in there. Oh dear. So first of all, Timmy, I think
where to start?
This is fantastic. This is amazing.
My eyes are drawn to the color coordinated drawers there. Got the purple row, the blue rows, the green rows.
Yeah. You're going reverse. Your eyes are drawn right, and then you have to go back left.
Yeah.
So there's the box.
There's a boxcar.
There it is. We found it. And I mean, he's got fantastic use of the vertical here. I'm looking like
that cutting mat is just blended right into that box.
Cutting mat is destroyed. I don't know. This one's high in the running.
Is that actually duplex wire coming off the wall, or what is that he's got hanging there?
Yeah, it's like,
oh wait a minute, that's an LED strip.
An LED strip strung in there for fun.
Wow.
Yeah, this is hacksaw.
I thought you maybe had like a raw hardwire of something going right.
Well, this is for
running 110 right to it.
This is for Jim's proto throttle for the streetcar. Wire.
Those are bottles of tar in the back. Do you see that?
No.
What?
The yellow bottles, the white topped yellow bottles.
Those are right bottles there?
No. Down by the Tamaya bottle, you see there's right there. Those are bottles of tar.
Like tar?
Well, no, modeling tar.
Modeling tar from Woodlands Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is a good workbench.
Right? What scale is that boxcar? I was going to guess N, but it's so small.
That might be Z scale. Who knows?
I think Timmy does work in N scale because I think he's posted a couple of things before on the page.
I just hope he's not a smoker. Because damn.
The transition from the cutting mat to the workbench is very Salvador Dali, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yes, it is.
I see a melting cow as I speak.
Yeah.
That's well done. Well put.
Yeah.
I love that. Well done, Timmy. All right. Jeff Anthony here. Hi, building banger and heuristic chip cars to sell at the Springfield MASH show. 14 on the bench. The hard part is done. Just the ladders and grabs and frames to do. Paint and decal. Hey, look at that. He's got a nice, utilized workbench here as well. Looks like he's got all of the things in about 6 square inches that he needs. And he's extended the workbench to the floor. And this is a technique that I've been toying with myself. I really like this.
I have that technique mastered.
You've mastered that technique?
Yes.
You notice one thing there. He's got an ultrasonic cutter.
Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Very
I
jealous.
just saw an ad
I could
on.
really do some damage with my fingers with that.
I actually just saw an ad for one of those on the internet the other day, and I thought, boy, that would be kind of slick. And then I thought the same thing you did, Martin. I'm like, nope, it's trip to the hospital 101 right there.
Yep. Every time I get a scalpel out, we got to notify the A&E ward down the road just to get them on hard standby with the stitches and the anesthetic when I roll in.
I always have my scalpel on my bench. I love using that sucker.
No, don't leave a scalpel on the bench. It rolls off. And it's funny, when it rolls off the workbench, it must be something to do with aerodynamics because the pointy bit always goes first.
No, these are flat. See, this one's flat. This is a real scalpel.
And I can see he likes using the taco sauce because one bottle looks just about empty there, and he got that fresh one ready to go.
Yeah, he's got her locked and loaded there. A couple points.
Oh,
boy, he's giving Timmy a run for his money here.
Yeah.
Jeff Anthony, this is looking pretty good. 10x7. I don't think they sell that in 30 of the 50 states anymore. I mean, that's
I think they don't sell it in 55 of the 50 states.
Yeah, I think that's gone the way of the dodo. Good use of the vertical.
Well, it's turned a lot of people into dodos, I'll say that.
yeah. Well done. All right, Chris Haddo here got a quit today, so decided to switch departments and do some ballast work on the modules. I like the ballast work. I also like what's in the background here. Old mug of beer.
Yeah.
Looks like Detroit Lions, something to, I know Chris is a Detroit Lions fan, right? He's got to be coming hot off the Vikings win that they had. So they beat the Vikings last week, if anyone cares.
Great for the Lions.
Yeah, Lions are in the playoff hunt. Ooh.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Chris. All right, Dennis Carroll here had to make a little room to bend some tortoise spring wires. Now, this is his workbench. Okay, it's pretty cool here. Now
what's with the chair?
Oh yeah,
that's way too comfy of a chair.
And the moonshine underneath the layout too.
Sleep in 10 minutes.
Yeah, you get comfortable. He gets bonus points for the second section sticker.
Yeah,
that's a winner right there.
How about the other one up on the upper left, or like in the left, right by the tortoise, right there on the bench?
Oh
there
yeah,
you go, right
Well, it's kind of like a Where's Waldo, where you can find the sticker on his workbench.
Right.
I like that. Now he has some off-brand taco sauce in the back here, with the weathering mixes there. Yeah, it's good stuff. Boy. To clean out, good use. He could employ the vertical though, I think, a little bit, but I do like the Where's Waldo aspect of it. It is good. Well done, Dennis. Kenneth Oriole. Here we go. N-scale RS3 to represent the Bat and Kill Railroad 4116.
That's a neat railroad to model.
Is it?
Sure.
Yeah. And now to screw up the courage and cut that frame to fit the LEDs and the decoder and speaker in there.
Just do it. Just
do it. JB Weld to put that frame right back together.
Yep. If not, you can find another frame on eBay.
Yep.
Jim,
I missed the bid.
Jim, you've been in N-scale for since its inception almost. Have you ever thought about getting milling machines to do stuff like that, or have you just kind of looked at it and said, nope, I'm not going to do that? With some of your projects that you've done.
Well, I've thought about it, sure, but the idea of watching the frame of the locomotive fly across the room at high speed has caused some restraint in the use of my wallet. When they hit the wall and they look like a spent bullet afterwards, it's.
Like those
Jim
tornado launchers that they put the 2x4s in and go through a brick wall.
Yes, exactly.
Just mail it to me, Jim. I've got my mill just standing by.
Okay. Well, you know, I've thought about that. I don't mean to sound stupid, but I'm sitting here at age 50 wondering, and people are going to shoot me for this. I'm still debating with myself whether to go DCC or not. I mean, I do enjoy
nothing wrong with
aspects of that. Huh?
There's nothing wrong with that.
It all depends on if you're just going to have a train go around and you're going to sit back, you know, drinking your scotch or whatever and enjoying the train going by. Bourbon. I'm sorry.
Scotch is for those red-haired people.
Yep, but or if you're going to get into switching in that. But then again, if you're going to get into switching, you may only, you know, you're going to be modeling the Chicago Northwestern and Lakeshore sub, so you're not going to have to worry about the traffic on the line. So,
wow,
DC is just
wow.
Shots
is my
fired.
Nose bleeding? Is my nose?
Yeah,
bleeding?
I that one came right across the bow, Jim. Hot.
Wow.
You know,
I want
once I
was a kid, man, 8 trains a
It's a
day.
good thing me and Jim are good friends.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
now you are. Not
Jim,
after
I
the show.
apologize. I apologize wholeheartedly for subjecting you to that question. If I had known
No,
that was going to be, if that was going to be the reaction to that question.
Well, I know people who have tried to, you know, mill down the frames for N scale locomotives to put decoders in, specifically lifelike E units, and which I love. I love the way they run. They're spectacular. They're actually one of the reasons why I got back into the hobby after, you know, when you're young and you're in your 20s, you get married, you don't have any money. You kind of like, I don't even have the money to do this. But seeing what lifelike became, I mean, I remember as a kid buying lifelike because, geez, that's all we could afford. You know, something that was worth $3 and you paid $6 for it. But you know, now all of a sudden here was an E unit that actually ran, and it said lifelike on the box, and I mean, I was stunned.
When I worked at the hobby shop, we sold a lot of the lifelike diesels in that because they were good running for the price.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You go on eBay now and look at, like, I don't know, pick something, a GP20 from lifelike, and you're paying $150 for these things now if you can find one. You know, it's and it's what's funny is, I mean, I remember buying these things that I can't imagine some of these hobby shops at the shows were making more than, you know, $1 or $2 on each unit, because I one time bought, not proud to say it, but I bought like 8 Northwestern E8s from Lombard Hobbies because he had them for $10 a piece.
Whoa.
And I mean, and my budget for that show was like $120, and I'm thinking, well, if I can get a locomotive, I'll be really happy today. And I'm walking out of there, you know, limping because I'm carrying this bag with 8 locomotives in it, you know.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny how the hobby has changed that way too. But looking at it, I don't know how good I'd feel about shaving those frames down to make those DCC. I mean, if anybody has any wisdom they want to throw my way, I mean, I've made plenty of locomotives into DCC locomotives for other people, but for my own stuff, I get it's funny. I kind of get like I don't want to ruin them. Does that make any sense, or am I sounding
absolutely?
Like
but then again, Jim, you cut and hacked a Cato drivetrain to put into your N scale electroliner. If you can do that, you should have no problem putting a DCC decoder.
Hey, Mike, Mike, don't burden Jim with facts.
I'm a man. I can't be held
I've got
accountable.
a bunch of N-scale locos here that have all got sound, marker lights, step lights, and bogey lights in Cato. So, and they've got lock sound in them as well.
Wow.
Wow. All right, what do we got here now?
Oh, we got some foam.
Yeah.
Josh Carlson. My workbench is currently the layout as I continue to work on carving the foam scenery base with hot wire tools. # not sponsored. The Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia are still rather pink, but that will change soon. Of course, a talus pile of debris has formed on the floor. I can only imagine burning that foam must smell awful.
But it'll keep the mosquitoes away.
Yeah, that's true. That is
if you got
true.
Teenagers in the room, just have them go. They won't remember anything.
Yeah, just like with the guy with the 10X7, right?
Exactly. Actually, if you mix the two, it makes for a wonderful mush.
Oh, yeah.
It sure beats trying to grind it down with a wire brush and a drill. It makes a big freaking mess.
Yeah, right. No kidding. No kidding. Mike Slater. Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, I wonder who he is.
Rebuilding a basket case McDonald's kit.
Looks like it needs new fresh fries.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Is it what do we look? What kind of kit is this?
That is a vintage lifelike building kit that McDonald's actually sued Lifelike back in the 70s and got the tooling for the kit.
Wow.
And so I the built up one was a building that I acquired a few years back. A guy gave me.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is probably a conglomeration of two McDonald's kits that I bought that were just complete and utter basket cases, and it's been as you can see, the base has been cut to fit the area of the layout, and the walls are all painted white. I'm waiting for micro scale decal stripes to do the red pinstripes.
Oh, really?
And right now I'm drawing up in CAD. I'm missing 3 of the long yellow pieces of plastic. So I'm now drawing those up in CAD so I can 3D print new pieces, and then I'll paint all the yellow pieces for the arches and all that.
That's slick.
I've almost thought, but I probably won't go there if I 3D printed all the arches in a translucent type resin, of how cool it would be if I actually lit it up.
That would be cool.
But
that's a real flashback for me. That was my first job.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the kitchen.
Working on translucent lights?
No. Mickey D's, man.
Oh.
Donnie's Diner. Mickey D's. Absolutely.
All right. Robert J. Thomas. Now this.
I heard that.
What did we miss another bid?
No.
Keep her moving.
All right. Robert J. Thomas at the home office workbench tonight, trying to figure out signs for this Mind Mount Models #not-sponsored structure kit. Almost ready for some weathering and assembly. And look at this. So he's at the home office workbench, very clean.
Yeah.
Looking at some nice signage here for the Mind Mount Models kit. And look at that. Getting ready for the podcast there on the tablet and a cup of coffee. I love this. This is looking good. Get a couple bonus points for the podcast being up. I'd like to see how the rest of this turns out, Robert.
Yeah.
And what you went with here. What signs did you go with? All right. Philip Herman finishing the crew lounge and dispatcher's office. Hey, now, I've seen that layout. I've had the opportunity to go to that layout for, I think, an open house a couple years ago. So it'd be fun to see the crew lounge. It's where I like to hang out during operating sessions. And now Philip Herman installing Midvale Creek Bridge, East Glacier, Montana. Looking good.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, that looks really, really awesome.
He's got a cool layout. Big layout. Kenneth Schmidt. Workbench is on the workbench. Reorganizing, remodeling, cleaning to make room for the new layout. Oh, wow. Look at this. And on the big screen in the back. Gotta like that. This workbench is... Boy, he's got it up here twice.
Yeah.
2 times the second section is just too much fun.
Well, he's got to have if he's doing the airbrushing and that, he's got to be able to look over and see the podcast.
Yeah, he can pivot. So it's always an eye line. I like that. Wow. Thank you, Kenneth. All right, Kenny Broomfield painting some people for passenger cars. Whoa, that looks really good.
Those are looking good.
They're obviously Australians on the bottom there.
Dave Nitch finishing up a Campbell Timberline Scale Models Freight House.
Wow, some flow quill. That's some hardcore.
That's hardcore,
lucky.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes right along with the 10X7.
Yeah.
It beats the 10X7.
Yeah.
That's some. Those 2 bottles are worth more than probably everything in that basement.
Yeah, no kidding. But now we should go ahead, Jim.
I have an unopened 35-year-old bottle of Floquil Bronze. Let me tell you, I bought it for the $1 it was priced at for a reason. Just to say I have a 35-year-old bottle of bronze.
Is there any liquid left in it?
Yeah, it's perfectly viable.
Oh, yeah.
It's never been opened.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have
know, right?
so many. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed.
Really?
Yeah.
But we should also comment on Dave's modeling here. Top rate.
The shingles are really great.
The
Oh,
shingles.
Very nice.
Very good. All right. Oh, Tony Dixon back in here again. S-scale MOW wheel replacement truck in the works. Oh, look at this. He's got a couple of them here.
See, that's the nice thing with S-scale is the wide selection of vehicles you have.
Yes.
Yup.
All the RC opportunities you have.
Yeah.
Nice
I was
high
just
rail.
looking at that. You could make that high ab on the back actually work.
Yeah, the high ab crane.
You could go down the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be slick?
How we usually do that to make hydraulics or simulate hydraulics on like something like that or an excavator.
Yeah.
Is, you got 0.8 mil threaded rod and then a 0.8 mil nut. And what you do is you mount the nut inside the piston housing or the cylinder, and you have a motor inside the arm that spins that cylinder, and then it makes the shaft go backwards and forwards.
Wow.
And so it's quite easy to make one of those into just using threaded rod and nuts and a motor mounted somewhere.
Tony, that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah. So it's also all 3D printed, so you should be able to adapt his models to make them work.
Yeah. I like the second section podcast suggesting on how to spend our money. I love that part. Yes. I really love friends like you guys helping me spend my money. That's awesome.
Hey, years ago, Tag there posted he bought a 3D printer, and next thing you know, I'm buying the same exact model with the same exact people that he bought. And
I've used mine maybe 10 times.
And I've worn mine out, and I got to buy a new one.
You could buy tags.
Yeah, I know where you can get one.
Andrew DK installing Rail Pro on an Atlas MP15 DC, scale, sound, speakers, and new LEDs.
God, I wish Rail Pro would have just gotten on the Proto Throttle game. That is such a cool operating system.
Yeah, it is. David Winther, first attempt at painting was an epic fail. So I gave it a bath and 99% and repainted it. A little cleanup yet, and then on to reassembling it.
That looks good.
This is a beauty.
Wow.
I can't wait to see this finished. If it looks anything like that caboose, holy cow.
Yeah, right?
Sometimes a painting mistake will lead to a better model.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just, I know that by putting clear coat on it. Well, at least what I thought was clear coat, and it being flat black.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Workbench is very clean, though, David. We're going to have to work on this.
I like that. That's pretty neat.
What's that?
I like that stand, whatever that was.
Yeah, his little paint stand here.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know if that's a Micromark deal or not.
Micromark or Robart or something like that, maybe?
David usually hangs around the chat. Maybe we can see if he can post what he's using there for a model holding stand. All right, Aaron Riley, working on the Met X210. This is the locomotive shop layout above the workbench.
It's actually the 210, not the 210.
Oh, the 210?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a story behind that.
You don't want to know it.
No,
wait
we'll
a minute.
save that for another...
Wait a minute, Mike. Is that the infamous 210?
Yes.
Yeah, the 210.
Yeah. You don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, don't even Google it.
Yeah, don't.
Hashtag don't Google.
Okay. Very good, Aaron. All right, moving right along. We don't want to do anything we don't want to do. Tony Dixon again here. S-scale clearance gauge, fresh off the printer. A secret project upcoming for one of these soon. Ooh, secrets.
Nice.
Very good. Aaron Riley back again with a 187 3D printed. Looks like a Metra car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that F40C looks pretty good though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, wow. Aaron, that looks real fantastic. Nice. Wow.
I wonder if that's that Shapeways shell.
You'll have to let us know, Aaron.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? That turned out really good. And looks like Owen Lemons on the workbench is ILS X1338 and ELS 501. 501 is getting some small details like MU plug and cut levers, wind deflectors, and much more. 1338 is getting an updated sound file with custom horn from the real 1338. 1338 is an Athearn ready to run we changed the fuel tank and on Solvaset on the BNSF logo and made it patched. 501 is a custom painted Kato that we chopped the fuel tank on. A couple of locomotives that you see running around on the Escanaba and Lake Superior current day.
Yep, and the 501, reason they had to chop it is it's an ex-Milwaukee Road 40-2.
Yep. Actually, it's the is that the number 22? If I remember right, one of the two is either the 500 or the 501 is the old number 22, and I think the other one's a 140 or one something.
Yeah, but it's good to see Owen on the workbench here tonight. Those locomotives are pretty slick, and he takes the he takes the fidelity from the prototype all the way to the sounds and stuff. So it's pretty neat. But his workbench is far too clean.
Yeah, well, at least with the sound and that, he's taken it a step further than his dad. But he had a very good teacher.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is going to do it for what's on the workbench this evening. Whew. That was a doozy.
Some really great stuff there.
Some fantastic modeling. Some fantastic modeling. So we have, looks like 50 people left in the chat as we're encroaching on hour 3 of the year anniversary marathon show here at the second section. We're going to end up closing up shop here shortly, but before we go around and do that, I just want to give the section crew out in the chat any chances to ask any follow-up questions to the crack panel that we had on this evening, other modeling exploits and all that good stuff. I know Marty and Jim has got some models out already, and Neil's working on some stuff as well. If you have any questions for them, fire them in the chat. But we're going to do a little bit of the round robin here as we close up the show tonight. And we'll start with Mike Shanky. Mike, any comments about the show, the podcast, anything in general before we close up tonight? Anything that we covered here that was a little out of the sorts we need to rehash or relitigate? What do you think?
Oh, no, the show is great. Congratulations, guys, on 1 year. The show has just been so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're learning some stuff too along the way, and that's the main reason why we're doing this.
Yeah, I can definitely feel the curve, and I feel like definitely the show has definitely helped with that. So
yeah,
I do appreciate.
Well, it's been fun to put on. Neil Erickson, I see that we've gone from the beach to the car, and now you're in the train shed. So, how are you doing?
You guys got me looking up my old Floqual packet. I've got so many, it's embarrassing. And then I brought up Berkshire Models little lunch shack I've been working on.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that looks nice. Oh, that guy had too many drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. That was me, actually, a little model.
You got the
I guess we should have shared our own workbenches, because I've got this Shea and ON30 that's going to fit over an HO mechanism, and I've been trying to smooth out a really bad Shapeways print. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I really enjoy the show, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Neil, you're always welcome. And like I said, thanks for supporting us early on and keeping us going. Appreciate it.
I got ostracized by someone else because of this, but it's all good.
Well, yeah, it's all good here. Yep. All right, let's see here. We're gonna go over to Jim Rent. Looks like you had a depot up in your hands earlier. What did you have there?
This is a custom build for someone. It's the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy's Holdridge, Nebraska depot in N scale.
Wow, is that pretty?
Woo! This is completely lasered. I decided to go that route.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm really quite happy with how it turned out.
Is the ornamental deal on the front and the circle, the cross steel, is that lasered also, or is that
every single thing you see here is lasered?
Wow!
So what I did here,
Beautiful.
I can actually take the front off because this is the last piece I have to finish. This is it's hard to see probably, but what I did is when I drew the shape of the and that is, I don't know if you can see, that's all brick that's cut, laser cut.
Yeah.
Holy man.
Yeah. I went back and then I drew this again underneath at a certain, I forget how thick, to create the stone effect that there is. And then when you layer it, and then if you fill it in with CA glue and sand it nicely, it makes for a pretty wonderful terracotta look to it.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
That is cool.
Jim, you said you're going to be getting back in the game in terms of cutting stuff up here pretty soon, huh?
Yes.
Well, keep us posted when that happens. You can throw something out on the Facebook group and let us all know. That's really cool modeling.
Well, I tell you, when we were dealing with COVID and everything, it slowed so many worlds down. But I grabbed. I'm a member of the Great Northern Historical Society, and their reference sheets are always just fantastic.
Yeah.
And one of them had a little 2-room shack. And I said to my friend Mark, I said, "Hey, could you use one of these in N scale?" And he says, "Oh, I could use half a dozen of them,
Yeah.
And so I started making these, thinking, "Oh, that might be a fun little kit idea at some point." Just trying to get myself back in the game and staying on top of things, because it's sometimes when you hit a funk after something like that, I don't think any of us expected that to happen. I sure as hell didn't. The COVID thing that
it just takes you out.
Trying to just stay within the world is sometimes a hard thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But, so I've got that. I also played with. I have an HO scale version of this as well, but this is a Sioux Line standard D class depot in
nice
N scale. I don't have the windows applied to this one, but but the HO scale version I think is pretty much ready. I just have to start making it, and I've got other things too that need to get rolling. It's just I've been babysitting my grandchildren 5 days a week because they're all under the age of 4, and that keeps me pretty busy. Let me tell you.
Oh, I can imagine. I certainly can imagine. Well, keep us posted, and I can't wait to see what comes next from Jim Rent. That's for sure.
My son Josh and I are going to have a table at. So if you see us there, mention the second section podcast. I'll just throw this out there right now, and I'll give you 10% off your purchase.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Hey. Excellent.
Hashtag
no sponsors. No sponsors.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Maybe someday these guys will buy me a hamburger. I don't
know. Jim, we'll take no money from you on that at all. We'll take absolutely no money from you. That's well done. Yeah, so that's Madison, right? You're going to be Madison, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And that is
February something.
8th, isn't it?
February 18th and 19th.
18th.
That's what it was. Okay, good.
And that's going to be at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin. That's always a good time. They got a cool little bar right across there called the Coliseum. They make a damn good burger. So, Jim, you're on.
I'll take you up on it.
All right. All right. Very good. Mike Slater, I know we talked about what's on your workbench, but any comments or anything like that before we tie down for tonight?
No, great job on the 1-year anniversary. The what's on your workbench actually has probably helped keep me a little bit motivated through some periods in that. So I think it has done with a lot of other modelers. Again, if looks like the Coliseum is closed.
I was just gonna scream out no, but that's.
But if you're at the Madison show, we're gonna have. If not one, but 2 trolley layouts at the show this time around. So come by and see some crazy individuals running the trolleys underneath live catenary. Yes, we run off the overhead wire like it should be, as God intended. And come by and say hi. And unfortunately, because we're not charging you to look at our models, so there's no discount for the second section crew and that, but at least come and say hi, and I'll say hi back to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll be I think I'm going to make a point of it to get down to Madison. I know, Mike, you can't make it.
I have a previous engagement.
Yeah. And so just Mark Stafford was on the show. He had to drop due to internet issues.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark, and sharing the Steam Proto Throttle. That was truly amazing. I can't wait to see that finished. And then Marty, I know you're last of the posse here, but certainly not least. Thank you again for coming on. Anything you want to add?
Not a problem. Well, no, just I'm working away here at the moment while you've all been chatting on some Wi-Fi throttles based on Jeff Bunz's design.
Oh, yeah.
So very, very cheap throttles. You can build them for I reckon probably American. You can build them for less than $40. But we're doing them for our club. So they've got very, very limited functions. So a club member can grab it and run a train on the layout without, changing half the points or rerouting by pushing the wrong button. And they're just a basic little ESP32, which has got inbuilt Wi-Fi. I actually use these for cameras. So in my hidden storage, I've got 15 cameras. 6 cameras there. There'll be 15 in total. So that you can see when you change the points, whether the points have actually changed in the hidden storage or whether we've got any problems down there. So that's another rabbit hole that I've run down.
Wow.
But in a month's time or so, I think I'll be going past Neil's place. So, but I'll be at 36,000 feet because I'm going to Springfield. So it's a bit hard to jump out of the plane to say good day to Neil as we go past.
Marty, I met Jeff Bunza at the National Narrow Gauge Convention in Tacoma recently, and he shared his new decoder with me, and I brought it home. I haven't had a chance to get it out yet, but he's a real gentleman.
Oh, Jeff's brilliant. I met Jeff actually through a good mate of mine over here, which you've probably heard of before, a guy by the name of Laurie McLean.
Yeah.
Laurie lives not far from me, and yeah, we kind of feed each other crazy ideas on what to do with animation and bits and pieces. So, but yeah, I saw Jeff when I was over in Portland for the convention in, what was it, 2015.
Well, I was there too. I didn't run into you.
Yeah, I didn't know you then. So
yeah.
But yeah, but I'm off to Springfield. Everybody here thinks I'm nuts because I'm flying halfway around the world for 4 days and then flying back again. So
no, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
You know, it's three planes, 2 time zones. But the thing is, I leave on a Wednesday and I arrive on a Wednesday. Wednesday's like Groundhog Day whenever you go to the US from here, because it keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. If someone tells me it's 10 a.m. on Wednesday the 3rd again, I'm going to strangle them. You know?
As long as you don't hear Sonny and Cher every morning.
Right, there you go.
Right. But then again, when you go home, it's different because you get on the plane on Sunday and you get off the plane on Tuesday, and Monday's just disappeared.
You lose a day.
But, I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking actually on Virtual Railfan, and I've got Flagstaff up, and I believe that's in Arizona where the deserts are, and they've got all this white stuff all over the floor. Now, I'm wondering whether I'm going to see any of that white stuff when I get to Springfield, because at the moment, the average temperature here is about 97 degrees with about 80% humidity. So
I'd be willing to say yes.
Yeah, you're going to see snow. And Flagstaff's up in the elevation too.
Yep.
So they're going to get snow up there.
Yep. I'll need something more than my thermal shorts.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you may want to pack a coat.
Socks and sandals might
Socks
be
and sandals. That'll be fine.
That's fine.
I can always wear me industrial thongs.
There you go.
There
and
you
in
go.
Australia, a thongs are what you put on your feet.
Oh.
Not
here
the
in the U.S., they pull them up a little higher.
Not the one on railroadarchives.net. Not those thongs.
No, not those.
Right. Okay, Marty, thank you so much again for joining us and sharing. It was brilliant.
The only criticism I have about this show is it's generally on when I'm at work. So I'm on holidays at the moment till mid-February. So I'll be able to drop in at any time. So, but yeah, it's a bummer when it's all of a sudden you're at school teaching and your phone dings and there's a bunch of blokes having fun online.
Yeah, well, we'll take you up on that if you're off until the 6th. We'll see if we can have a little fun with Marty in the train shed.
Yeah,
will do.
Awesome. All right, Mike Ostertag, what do you think?
I think this has been crazy.
It has been crazy.
I don't know. I know when you and I talked about doing this show, this is no BS. We actually thought, is anybody really going to care what we have to say? Is anybody going to actually listen to us, to what we're doing? And I know we're just getting started. It's only been a year, but it's been a hell of a year, and met so many awesome people. And just, if it weren't for everybody in the chat and all the people that support the Facebook page and just support us all together, this wouldn't have lasted the 2 months. What the hell just happened to my camera? Oh, I'm waving my hands in front of it. That's what it was. Autofocus. I'm not used to having that. My other one would have just stayed.
I wasn't listening. What?
But I mean, honestly, it's been an honor and a privilege to come on here every other Tuesday and to talk to the people that we have and to see the progress that a lot of guys have made, and especially after we bring up like new products or something else that's gone on, and seeing people actually functioning. Like you said, Jim, COVID took a hell of a bite out of everybody's doing everything, and everybody kind of lost touch to a certain degree with how things really need to be done. And
right,
I'd like to I'd like to think, it might sound a little arrogant maybe, but I'd like to think that post-COVID-ish, we kind of helped tie things back together for some people. And we did it in a different way. We haven't gone out and gotten sponsors. We haven't gotten any money. We've just doing this. We're just, like you and I always said, we're just two guys who like to talk about model railroads, and we want to bring other people into it, and that's it. That's all we are. That's it. Period. Point blank. And if that ever changes, then we're going to be done. Then we'll quit. And I don't see that happening. But it's just want to say thank you to everybody. Just honestly, thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
I want to publicly thank you, Mike, or Tag. You know, if it weren't for you, I don't know how COVID would have been any easier. You got me involved in S-Scale. I built an S-Scale layout. You and Ken Siska, you guys are a really bad influence.
You're welcome. Well, thank you. I and the thing is I've learned from all of you guys. I like that warehouse I did. I never would have tried that had it not been for this podcast. I never would have even considered doing it. I wouldn't have even looked at something like that had it not been for this podcast. Had we not reached out to Boomer and all these other things, and he did what he did, and then all the support that you get by doing all those things and suggestions on how things are doing. And I'm going blurry again, but it's just it's really been, the show has really been a catalyst for renewing the juices of the hobby, and it's been a lot of fun. It's just fun. That's all there is to it. And there's going to be some fun things coming up. I think Andy and I might have a few things that we have kicked around ideas over the course of the last year. And as Andy and I always do, it usually takes about a year to year and a half for an idea to actually come to fruition.
Yeah, so the ideas you're seeing now, they actually came about 3 years ago.
Yeah, they're actually 3-year-old ideas. So, but just thank you. That's all I got to say. Thank you for everything. You know.
Yeah.
And thank you, Andy, for doing this with me. You know, it's I couldn't have a better guy with me in doing this, honestly.
Right back at you, Mike. It's you know, it's really, really clear. Like people come up and say, you know, like, it just sounds like you guys are having fun on the show, and it's because we truly are. And it's been, for me, I've actually learned so much over the course of this 1 year that it's leveled up my modeling abilities as well. Tom Klamoski on here, Tom Johnson, William Sampson, Tom Gazier. We had Ralph,
Boomer,
you know,
Mike Rose.
Mike Rose was on a couple times, and just fantastic. Just sharing the information, right? Bernard Helen from Mini Prints sharing 3D printing with us, and you know, I mean, it was really incredible. And we got like Marty here tonight sharing another aspect of the hobby with the RC and building your own throttles and those types of things. So for me, I look for, it's almost selfish in a sense, but I'm learning so much about this hobby, and truly it's remarkable, and it's fascinating. And I'm to get to meet everyone. We met a bunch of people at Train Fest this year. I've met a lot of people via Facebook, or doing like a Facebook group, that type of stuff, getting to hang out, getting to talk, get to know you guys. It's fun to hang out with pretty much anyone in the section crew. So I'm going to have to say thanks again. We are going to have some cool things coming up next year, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be we're going to take it to the next level. So think.
Yeah, we may or may not have some sort of major announcements shortly after the first of the year if we can get things figured out, which is another thing that we've been talking about for like over a year.
It's been a year now. So
it's been a year now. Yep.
But at any rate, again, I'm droning on here. Thank you, Mike Slater, Mike Shanky, Neil Erickson, Marty, Jim. Thank you again for taking the 3 hours of your life and hanging out with us tonight. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
Hey,
yeah,
time flies when you're hanging out with friends.
That's
Funny
true.
that you think I had a life to waste. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you're welcome. Beaches anytime.
Yeah, thanks. All right, gang. So I think that's it. We're gonna tie down for tonight. I think we're gonna try something out. So this is one of the changes, right? We talked
this
about
never works. Good.
This is so we got a tagline tonight for the end of the show. We're gonna try it on for size, see how it goes. And this was from Chris Holzbach, and he said, "Good night and keep the joint bars tight." Thanks for listening to the second section. I'm your host, Andy Dorsch, and I want to thank everyone for the fantastic year. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, and thanks.
Good night.